If you've been diagnosed recently, it doesn't have to be as devastating as it may seem. Chances are you didn't just get cancer recently. What you need to do is visit the team at Innovative Medical Associates. Dr. Molly Fantasia, the PhD doctor and founder of Innovative Medical Associates, has helped hundreds over the years with her unique hydration protocols geared specifically to cancer support. The team is comprised of Dr. Molly Fantasia and her doctors, plus her outstanding nursing staff. With almost 30 years in practice, Innovative Medical Associates can help you navigate the journey through cancer and beyond. To set up your initial complimentary contact Innovative Medical Associates at 856-489-0505, 856-489-0505, or visit their website, innovativemedicalassociates.com. That's innovativemedicalassociates.com. Make that appointment, and you'll be on your way to treating cancer as only Innovative Medical Associates knows how.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2. And you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbie, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp, and they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest-growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join our news revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. More anti-government protests in Iran. Sources tell CBS News that at least 12,000 demonstrators in Iran may have been killed so far. President Trump has just told a group at the Economic Club of Detroit.
I've canceled all meetings with the Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. And all I say to them is help is on its way. You saw that I put tariffs on anybody doing business with Iran. Just went into effect today.
The president has been briefed on a wide array of military and covert tools that can be used against Iran that go well beyond conventional airstrikes, according to two Defense Department officials who spoke to CBS News under condition of anonymity. A shakeup among federal prosecutors. CBS's Scott McFarlane has the latest from Washington.
There's been a mass resignation inside the Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Justice. Multiple employees who have left the job. The concern, according to multiple sources speaking with CBS News, is the lack of a Civil Rights Division investigation of that fatal shooting in Minneapolis involving a federal agent.
Protesters and federal agents are repeatedly squaring off after the shooting of Renee Good. Minnesota and the Twin Cities are suing the Trump administration, and as CBS's Lana Zach in Minneapolis reports.
They say all of this is making it more difficult for local law enforcement officials to keep the peace and contributing significantly to overtime costs. It's estimated that police overtime for here in the Twin Cities will tally somewhere around the $2 million range over the course of just 4 days.
The Supreme Court appears likely to uphold state laws that ban transgender athletes from participating in girls' and women's sports, wading for the first time into the contentious issue. Arguments have been heard today. CBS's Katrina Kaufman reports.
What the states want, though, who are arguing here, is they want a broad decision. They don't want the justices to make these case-by-case determinations. They want them to say that these laws are valid, that they are constitutional, and that they should remain in place in all of these states across the country.
Fewer Americans are signing up for Affordable Care Act health insurance plans this year. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
New federal data shows a 3.5% drop in enrollment. That's about 800,000 fewer people selecting plans this year over last. That includes new consumers and existing enrollees opting out. A big part of that is due to the expiring subsidies and rising health care costs. Experts believe enrollment will likely drop further as people receive their first bills this month and choose to cancel.
Stocks are trading lower on Wall Street this afternoon. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to the official 48 Hours After Show post-mortem on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Meet the first person in 2,000 years to play an ancient musical instrument. CBS's Vicki Barker reports.
That's the sound of a reconstructed carnix, an ancient horn excavated from Iron Age graves in Britain. Music professor John Kenny's spent 3 decades learning to master it.
If you reconstruct a musical instrument and you can sound it, you're putting a hand through the curtain of time.
The carnix was used as a battle horn and possibly in sacred rituals. For Kenny, that first invitation to play it was, he says, life-changing. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
K-pop's BTS announces its first world tour since returning from mandatory military service. It will kick off in South Korea in April and run through March 2027 with over 70 dates across Asia, North America, South America, Australia, and Europe. It's the group's first headline tour since 2021. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
What's up, Philadelphia? I am Rich Valdez with an S, at Rich Valdez on all of the social media, and I'm here with the queen of afternoon talk radio, Mary Walter. She's joining us this afternoon as we're joining you guys on your drive home. You know the phone number here where we actually pick up the phone. We've got 2 amazing guys in the studio today, Mr. Otero and Mr. DeSantis, so give us a call, 8 855-839-1210. And in a little bit of sad news, which I never start with sad news, but a little bit of sad news, there was a teenage kid that got shot at a Chipotle in Philly last night. He's was fighting for his life. He's dead. And it sucks to have headlines like that because A, they're sad, and B, they're so repetitious in Philly, right? I wish I could say we haven't heard of that before in Philly, but we definitely have. And another piece of tragic news, the creator of Dilbert, Scott Adams, passed away. Lots of tributes to him are going out all over the internet from looking at Twitter, or what it's called, X now. And along with a bunch of other things coming out from the White House, President Trump pushing hard on affordability, making lots of different proposals after, President, I was going to call her President Elizabeth Warren, after Senator Elizabeth Warren, God forbid, right? Senator Elizabeth Warren blasted him in a speech that she made, and that's not too atypical of her. But President Trump yesterday doubling down on all sorts of issues, one of them being credit cards. Listen to this. Or don't. We'll continue until we get it. I will pivot to Mary Walter because I know Mary Walter wanted to comment on the affordability crisis that President Trump seems to be alleviating. Mary Walter. All right. I see Mary
sorry,
talking.
Hold on. There I am. Sorry. I don't like the term. Sorry about that. I don't like the term affordability because
Too Mamdani for you?
No, it's a leftist term that they use to try. They didn't care about affordability before, right?
Of course not.
Now all of a sudden it's affordability. So now President Trump is traveling around the country trying to, highlighting everything that he's doing, but unfortunately he's preaching to the choir. So he has to wait until the big beautiful bill kicks in later, as the year goes on, especially when people are doing their taxes and things like that. And he has to just keep reminding them that, hey, I did that. We did that. Republicans did that, because the media is going to continually pound into people how horrific their life is. And the left wallows in misery. They love being miserable. It's the whole reason they live is to be miserable. So it plays into that. And I think that blow, that horn that the leftist media has, makes it very, very difficult for President Trump to break through the noise and point out what people are already seeing, but for whatever reason, they will not acknowledge.
Yeah, that makes some sense. And listen, I get it. I fall victim to this every now and again, right? When I say things like capitalism, right? Capitalism is another Marxist term that they created, just like the middle class or the working class, this class structure. This is all part of Marx's class warfare. And I think many of us fall into it. And it goes a little bit beyond semantics because it really does shape, right? It starts to shape the way you look at society and the where you place yourself as a group. And one of those things that coming up, now that we're talking about this stuff, I always thought to myself I was told as a kid by adults that I heard, Republicans are for the rich and Democrats are for the poor. And I thought to myself, well, I've been poor all my life, so I definitely don't want to be a Democrat. I'm going to go with those guys because they're for the rich. And I was all about trying to become rich, right? So it made a lot of sense to me as a kid. But it's amazing to me that we have people that will choose to stay in the bucket that they're in, right? Or choose to just remain in this place financially or otherwise. So good point on the leftist term of affordability. And the reality is we have to do, right? I mean, life moves, and inflation was a problem that always existed, but it was exacerbated by Joe Biden. And it's funny how many of us, myself included, tend to forget how bad inflation was and how high it got. And the reason we forget, I'll tell you why. His name is El Trompito Donaldus Magnus, the 45th and 47th president of these United States, because he's done such a good job at bringing it down. He's done such a good job of bringing in investment, and things have really started to cool in that area. And because of that, we almost throw out the baby with the bathwater. And I say we collectively, not maybe you and me, but definitely he who votes in every fourth-year election, right? Those people that are just trying to work, trying to go on vacation, they tend to think, nothing's going down. Meanwhile, I think gas is down significantly. I'd like to see it hit $1. What do you say, Mary?
Well, living in the People's Socialist Republic of New Jersey, as do you, the gas prices go down, but the dummies in this state voted to tie the price of gas not to inflation anymore, but to whether the Transportation Trust Fund needed money. So it's funny how the government always spends more money than they have. So the gas taxes in New Jersey go up and up. I'm convinced that the bulk of our gas price in New Jersey is actually taxes. It's going up 20 more cents. So we're never going to get back below $2. I highly doubt that'll ever happen in this state because, again, I believe the bulk of our gas taxes, our gas price is taxes. So, but on the upside, they do pump it for me because I hate pumping gas.
Yeah, that's a unique to New Jersey problem, right?
Yes.
My daughter went to college in Virginia, and she found that out the hard way. She was like, "Oh my gosh, everywhere you go when you're driving home, you have to pump your own gas." And I was like, "I'm sorry, I have ill-prepared you for life." Anyway.
No. You could prepare her very well because when I was driving to Washington, D.C., I would go down 295. And just before you hit the Delaware border, there's a Pilot and a Flying J. So I would always pull in there. I'd fill my car up. I have a hybrid, right? That it's not a plug-in, but a hybrid, right? So I get like 600 miles to a tank of gas, if not more, depending on how I drive. I can make it all the way down to D.C., down to my apartment in Chevy Chase. And then I could do whatever driving around I had to do. And I always made sure I had enough gas to get back into New Jersey to hit the Flying J or the Pilot, or exit 2 off 295 in southern New Jersey and fill up again. That's fine. So you can do it. And if she has Jersey plates on her car, if she stops anywhere where outside of New Jersey, if they see a Jersey plate, they will get out and pump it for you because their life is going to be so much better if they just do it for you than watch you struggling to try to figure out how to pump the gas. So,
well, I've driven down to the swamp a number of times, and I haven't had that experience. But speaking of the swamp, Mary Walter, I don't know if you heard the top of the hour news update that there are a bunch of people that are quitting their federal government jobs because, especially in the Department of Justice and the Civil Rights Division, saying we don't like what's going on. We want a independent investigation into what happened with Renee Good in Minneapolis. And I'm thinking, yet again, President Trump has outsmarted them. He's draining the swamp and he's making them do all the work.
Well, he always does, and they never manage to see that he is always, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 steps ahead of them. And during his first term, I made that mistake, and I thought, what is he doing? And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. And I rapidly learned that you never question what Donald Trump is doing because he knows exactly where he's going. He's just playing that infamous 3D chess, and he's several steps ahead.
Yeah, 3D, 4D, 5D. I think we're up to 6D now. And
exactly.
Speaking of the deep state and draining the swamp, President Trump issued an order for FBI Director Kash Patel to remove agents from the Bureau, referencing a news report detailing the role of a former FBI official reportedly advancing the Arctic frost investigation that targeted Trump and Republican organizations and elected officials. And all of that's going on today while he's trying to tackle what's going on with credit cards and everything else. And I think, for me, I look at this and I think, I worked in government, and I can tell you it is extraordinarily difficult to advance any singular agenda item. And President Trump seems to wake up and go, today we're going to move the ball forward on this one, and we're going to do a little bit of this, and we're going to do a little bit of that, and we're going to do... And by the end of the day, he's moved the needle on 5 or 6 different things, globally, domestically, and otherwise. And I, for one, I'm always impressed.
If he could only get Congress and the Republicans to help him, he would be so much further along than he already is, right? But there are several of them that spend a good amount of their time just being against anything Donald Trump is for. And it's so annoying. Honestly, the right needs a Nancy Pelosi. Say what you want to say about Nancy Pelosi, but she could get them all in line. You could tell she had kids. Because she knows, and this is the difference between a man and a woman when it comes to leadership. Women can round up those cats, get them in line. Let's go. Just treat them like toddlers. I once asked Sarah Huckabee Sanders that. I'm like, are you so good at your job as press secretary because you have children? She goes, learned everything I know about with toddlers, right? Like, it's so true. You got to just get them all in line and get them going in the same direction. And unfortunately, Republicans don't want to do that. I don't know.
What do you think about Speaker Johnson? He seems to have advanced every last impossible mission that President Trump has put before him, and he's not a woman. At least last night.
Where's the SAVE Act? Where's the Voter ID Act?
Well, was that something that you heard President Trump pounding his chest on?
Yes, he keeps saying, "I want voter ID. Why don't we have voter ID?" He says it all the time.
I think there's a difference between. Would you say he says it the same way he says that big beautiful bill, right? I mean, I think there are plenty of things President Trump throws in the air. Few that he says, "All right, we're going to run this one down to the other end of the field."
Why does Johnson, if he is the Speaker of the House, why does he need President Trump to tell him, no, now you should do this? He knows it's a priority. He knows the people want it. He knows that the people who've put President Trump in office want it because that's what he promised. Why not, I don't know, do it on your own to show a little leadership? You are the leader, the Speaker. Show a little leadership and actually make our election safe.
So you're unhappy with Johnson's performance. You don't think he's running the ball.
Listen, I don't like Thune either, so there's that. I think Thune's a never Trumper deep down inside, but that's just me.
You'd prefer Nancy Pelosi.
I want a Republican version of Nancy Pelosi, absolutely, who can get everybody in line. Absolutely.
Sounds interesting.
I also want a pony for Christmas, but that's not happening.
What do you think about this? Do you think this one happens, the $2,000 tariffs, the tariff rebate? Do you think that actually comes to fruition?
Yeah, you know what? It depends on what it is, because Trump has learned from the Democrats, so I got to give him props on that one, because the Republicans don't play the way they should. But I got to give him props. Democrats use taxpayer money to buy votes all the time. So is he going to buy votes with as many groups as he can before the midterms? Maybe. He may be playing the game that they're playing. Would I prefer to see that money go to paying down the debt? Yeah. But then again, by the time the debt comes crashing down, I'm going to be dead. So, do I care that much? There's that too. But I would like to see them pay down the debt, be a little fiscally responsible. But I think that's what Trump is doing. So I understand it at the same time. Kind of admire it because it's what the Democrats would do.
Now, Mary Walter, let me ask you this. I woke up to news today that Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, had passed away. And I'd seen a few of his posts on X and other places, in the last year or three. But I didn't grow up reading Dilbert. I don't know Scott Adams, never met him personally. And it seems like there was a lot of people that were impacted by this. Talk to me about your experience with him.
So you're implying that I'm older than you and therefore I would remember. Yes, I am older than you, and yes, I do remember Dilbert. Hilarious. I'm sad that you never went back to see what Scott Adams was all about and to see The Far Side and read some of those cartoons, because I think you would really love them. So I'm sad that a lot of people have never done that. But he just had a take on life that was hilarious, and he became a darling of the right because he got canceled. You know that. I'm sure you know that. He became a darling of the right because he got canceled, and so it's sad. It's sad. His whole story, but it's sad when anyone has an incurable illness who, whether it's your neighbor, whether it's a family member that the world doesn't know. It's just that everyone knew who he was. And so I think there's a greater outpouring because of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I had seen The Far Side, a couple of times as a kid. I just was never into Dilbert. But
wait. He was Dilbert, not The Far Side.
Yeah, he was Dilbert.
That's my correction.
You mentioned The Far Side.
I'm sorry. I said The Far Side. Dilbert. I apologize. His Dilbert cartoons, and I'm imagining the Dilbert guy, but I was calling it The Far Side, so I apologize on that one.
Got it.
But still, I'm sad that people didn't go back and read Dilbert. Because it was very funny, and it was about a guy who could be any of us, and I think a lot of people related to that.
Yeah, I get you. There's nothing like a show about nothing, right? Like Seinfeld type of comedy, that type of humor. Sometimes I feel like that's how my radio career is sometimes. I'm just talking about nothing. Nobody's listening to me. Anyway, I want to invite all of our amigos in Philadelphia to give us a call as we're sitting here chopping it up. The number is 855-839-1210. I've always had, just a quick aside, I've always had the hardest time giving out numbers for talk radio because I always give the wrong one. So I'm always so nervous and so shy to do it. Anyway, you know the number, 855-839-1210. Mary Walter, is there something that you'd like me to add before we go to our illustrious break?
No. Great job.
Oh, well, thank you. Great hair. I'm Valdez. She's Walters. We're coming right back.
It's Rich Zioli. If you're going to set 1 New Year's resolution this year, it should be to protect yourself and your family. And my friends at Bob's Little Sports Shop will help. See, Bob's isn't just about selling firearms. They're a full-service shop with over 60 years of helping people like us become responsible, safe gun owners. They're going to guide you through the entire process from applying for your permit, helping you select a firearm that fits you best, and most importantly, train you on how to safely operate your firearm. And you're going to get hands-on training with one of Bob's certified NRA and range safety officers. Now, I've been working with Bob's in selecting another firearm, and I'm working with their certified trainers to help sharpen my skills, because you always got to sharpen your skills, right? Listen, I'm telling you, the team at Bob's, they are the best in the business. So make 2026 the year you protect yourself and your family and exercise your Second Amendment rights. Visit bobslittle.sportshop.com. bobslittle.sportshop.com, my go-to place for all things freedom and liberty. This ad sponsored by Bob's Little Sports Shop.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Hi, this is Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst, certified financial planner, and the host of the Jill on Money podcast. With the new year upon us, there's no better time to take control of your financial life, and the Jill on Money podcast is here to help. It's your questions that make it possible for me to provide unconventional and, I hope, entertaining insights on your money and, more importantly, on your life. Follow and listen to Jill on Money wherever you get your podcasts.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Amazon is expanding the artificial intelligence capabilities of its Alexa voice assistant. The e-commerce firm launched Alexa.com, which can be used across a number of devices, with Amazon saying users can get quick answers, explore complex topics, plan trip itineraries, and get help with homework. Amazon is competing against other AI assistants, including OpenAI's ChatGPT and Google's Gemini. I'm Jason Brooks.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-959-3388. That's 800-959-3388.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Costos, and watching sports isn't a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And my show is not a job, it's a passion. From the NFL playoffs to the NBA and everything in between, celebrate sports with me every day on You Better You Bet from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Download the Odyssey app now and listen to Westwood One Sports from anywhere. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos, live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern, presented by BetMGM.
Tune in to the Crash Proof Retirement Show Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Joanne Small-Canella and Tracy Stillman. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Now back to the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Mary Walter here with my buddy Rich Valdez with an S. If you want to join us, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210, or you can reach out to either one of us on X. Mine is at Mary Walter Radio, and he's Rich Valdez with an S. Super simple and super easy. Don't forget, my live cast is tonight, so I'm going to get done here. I'm going to have an hour, not even, and I'm going to eat while I prep my podcast, live cast. And a lot of you join in. I'm so happy. I know I see Sue's there, and Mangelmush, and Dottie, and Sal, and a bunch of others. So I'll see you again later, hopefully. 7:15 p.m. live on Rumble, YouTube Getter, and the audio is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker. Did have a guest bagged out. So it's just us. So whatever you guys want to talk about, that's what we'll do. It's interactive. So hope to see you there. Okay, Rich, is there anything you wanted to plug, by the way? Tell people where you are.
Oh, you can always get me at richvaldez.com if you want to check out my show. I'd love it. It's a new one every day, 5 nights a week, 9 p.m.
There you go. All right. So when we're done with the live cast, you can go see Rich. Because who doesn't want to go see Rich? So
sounds great.
Right. You can't get enough of the two of us. It'll be a whole day full of us.
Yay.
All right. I have a question for you guys. How did Gen Z become the most religious generation alive ever? How did that happen?
I don't know the answer, but I'm going to raise my hand. Can I volunteer?
Go ahead.
I think it's because millennials went so far off the deep end that they said, oh my God, we need Jesus.
Maybe, but they're more religious than boomers.
That makes sense.
So I'm curious why you think that happened. 855-839-1210 is the number, or as I said, you could always tag us in a notification on a post on X, and we will try to get to you, because yesterday Sal yelled at me. Well, he didn't yell, but he sent me a sternly worded message saying, how come you didn't read any of our tweets? And I was just like, dude, I was trying to do a lot of stuff, it was the first time we'd worked together, so and he said, okay, we'll try again tomorrow. I said, all right, so we'll do our best. Okay, so now, the bulk of this story comes out of England, but it comes out of a YouGov study, all right? And that YouGov study found that Gen Z believes in a higher power more than any other generation, with data showing that there has been a rise in the religiosity. Is that a word? Religiosity?
Yeah, that's the word.
Okay, all right. And also church attendance among young people, because I think a lot of people identify as being religious, or I'm Catholic, or I'm this or I'm that, but they only go to church at Christmas and Easter. That's it. Those people that I never see in church, except I'm like, wow, I never knew you were a Catholic. When I see them on Christmas Eve, I'm like, oh, who knew? Because I never see you. So there's been this rise, and we all know that. They also conducted two studies, one in 2018 and one in 2024, and they tracked how religiosity changed among 18 to 25-year-olds, how it has changed. And they identified a really sharp rise in young people attending church and those who say that they believe in a higher power. It was a 6-year span. And over that time, the number of young people who said they attended church monthly increased from 7% to 23%. Now, it's still only 23%, but that's a huge jump from 7% to 23%. In just a 6-year period. That's crazy. Also, 28% of young people said they believed in a higher power in 2018. This increased to 49% 6 years later. One 23-year-old interviewed for the piece says, I don't see anyone really posting about religion, and she claims that she's an atheist. And she said, and if I do, it's like more religious persecution. She says she believes the increase in interest about religion could be a result of the COVID pandemic, with fewer young people attending colleges and universities in person. So they were not subject to the propaganda. And this is an atheist saying this. Wow. So even she recognizes the indoctrination in the colleges and universities. I thought that was so interesting. How crazy.
Yeah, it actually is. And, you know, it goes in line with my thought that the millennials were so off the deep end that it caused people to go in that direction. Because I'm talking macro and you're talking micro, right? COVID's probably one of the best things that pushed people. I think there's a lot of people that said, you know what? I would go to church during COVID if it was open, if I was allowed to go, if the choir wasn't being banned. And I think that's when people said, you know what? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Because there were a lot of people that were on the sidelines and got involved in the COVID battles over vaccines or over free speech or over health freedom or whatever it was, just because they said, you know what, this is wrong. The same way there were people on the sidelines getting involved for, you know, not all heroes wear capes and banging the pots and pans and celebrating doctors and nurses. So I think people, because they had nothing else to do, quite literally, and they were quarantined and sequestered to their homes, said, you know what, let me get involved in something. And some people said, I've been meaning to go, because I would bet you if there was a survey out there that said things you're meaning to do, going to the gym is probably on there, going to church more often is probably also on there. I tend to go to church pretty regularly, and I always see people that I haven't seen in a while. And the same thing. Oh, wow, you go here? Oh, yeah, whatever. That type of thing. And they're like, yeah, I've been meaning to come. I always hear that. I've been meaning to come, and they don't quite make it. And, you know, it's funny, when I was coming up in church, I remember my pastor used to tell me, he said, you got to be nice to the people that are going to be here. Some of them are visitors, but some of them are CEOs. And I said, what's a CEO? And he said, Christmas and Easter only. And I said, gotcha. So
yeah, our
it'd be like that.
Jokes about that on Christmas. He makes a joke. He goes, I hope I see some of you next week, and I don't have to wait till Easter to see you.
Now, Mary Walter, let me posit this to you, because I think in the same vein of this conversation, I think that something I oftentimes bring up on my podcast, which I tend to get a little philosophical sometimes, is that I think people oftentimes will base their political opinions on different things. Sometimes it's emotion, sometimes it's logic, sometimes you get people that'll say, I'm a fiscal conservative, but I'm socially liberal or socially moderate, right? And I would bet 9 times out of 10, the people that are socially moderate are typically people that are not very religious, people that are not very into their faith. Because typically if you go to church and you're doing communion, and I'd say 7 out of 10 churches, they don't want you to be pro-life and take communion, right? That's a thing.
Well,
Yeah.
They do want you to be pro-life.
No, I mean pro-choice. Excuse me.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so,
but
like Joe Biden getting sort of quasi-excommunicated.
Well, yeah, because he's not a Catholic, because it's going against church doctrine, right?
Right.
So
the point I'm making is I think there's been, and I'm going to put this on, interestingly, right? This is going to be crazy. The headline would be, Valdez says people are coming to Jesus because of Trump. But in many ways, I think MAGA got people into lots of things. People who were like, you know, that's unconstitutional. They'd never looked at the Constitution in their life, but just to either prove Trump wrong or to prove him right, they said, I'm going to read the Constitution. And I know this for a fact because I've seen so many people that have, you know, come to me and they're like, you know, Article 2, Section 3. And I'm like, wow, look at that. I've been doing this for long enough where there weren't a lot of people running around, you know, doing chapter and verse on the Constitution. So I think because of Trump, a lot of that happened. I think it even happened to Trump in so much as saying when he took that bullet in the ear, I think his outlook on life greatly changed in the direction of faith as well.
Well, I fully believe he's probably going to convert to Catholicism like his wife. I see it. You know, he has the singer singing Ave Maria in Butler, Pennsylvania for the second rally. He did an adoration of the Eucharist in the White House. So and invited all prominent Catholics Catholics in Washington, D.C. to come. So I think that's going to happen. But speaking specifically to Gen Z,
yeah,
I think it is not the Trump effect. I don't think it's the MAGA effect. I think it's the Charlie Kirk effect.
Okay.
That's what I think is happening. I also think, and I want to go to cut one, I also think that a lot of this is social media as well. Social media can be a contagion in a bad way, and I think social media can be a contagion in a good way. This is a woman who was on a show called Love Island. I don't know if that's a show here in the United States, but it is.
Oh, I've seen it.
Have you really?
Yeah.
I love that.
That was a huge show. I think it might still be going. I only caught a couple episodes. My kids told me I heard about it, and I asked them, you know about that? And they're like, yeah, Dad, it's a big thing.
Okay. Well, this chick's a star from Love Island, and her name is Matilda Draper. She's beautiful. And she was interviewed for this piece, and here's what she had to say, because she is one of these kids who is now becoming more religious. Go ahead.
I've definitely noticed a change in people speaking about God. I see it a lot on TikTok now. I see, young preachers on the street.
I cannot tell you how many young adults walk into these doors on their own.
I'm seeing people that look like me, that dress like me, that are kind of similar ages to me, and you're just like, I wasn't always seeing this before.
Is God making a comeback with young people? A recent YouGov study showed that Gen Z said they believed in God more than any other generation in the UK, including boomers.
So that was a mashup. Thanks, guys. They cut up in the interview. The best, Justin and Matt. They cut that up and they did a mashup. So the first one was Matilda, and then there were other people who were involved in that as well. And she goes on to say there's so much bad in the world. There's so much negativity that you see online. The stuff we fill our brains with, it doesn't have any substance. And I do think that people are yearning for purpose and fulfillment, especially young people and especially young men. And that's what we're seeing. The New York Post did a piece on the rise of the growth of the Catholic Church in New York, so much so that Old St. Patrick's Church, there's St. Patrick's and there's Old St. Patrick's, actually had to add another location where they were holding masses because there's so many people who are now coming, and they're young. And I think Gen Z I think they're directionless. I think they came of age during COVID. Where they didn't have clubs and social groups and activities and football games and all those social things that to go to. So they lived online, and now they're realizing that there's something more out there. Or they want there to be something more out there. 855-839-1210 if you want to jump in on this conversation. I think it's Justin or Matt says my 20-year-old sister is absolutely obsessed with Love Island USA. Maybe I got to check this out, but I do not need another reality show to follow. So.
Yeah, my daughter's 20, and when I told her about it, she was like, "Oh yeah, I've heard about that, Dad." There was a controversy. One of the girls had made a comment about having quote unquote chinky eyes in a makeup tutorial where she was adding makeup to her eyes, and she was immediately banned from the show. They said it was a racial slur, and she was booted off the show. And I covered that on my show because I did not know, just like I wasn't very familiar with Dilbert, I also didn't know that was a racial slur. So forgive me. I grew up in a part of Brooklyn where even the Asians use this word.
Okay. There are things that you can't say that Asians can say, just like the only people who have
they didn't take offense to it.
The only people who have a moratorium on things that they can't say that other people can say, the only people who don't have that card are white people. We're not allowed to say anything about anybody, but other people can say whatever they want about white people. They can call us whitey, they can call us cracker, they can call us whatever name, white boy, white girl. They can mock white people right, left, and sideways. Totally fair game. But white people, we don't have the same freedom of speech. We got to be very, 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 very careful.
Well, you've got to check my Instagram feed because I got all these white comedians, and they rip everybody, and they're hysterical.
I'm not on IG. I know I have to get on Instagram, but I need people. One last thing I want to bring up with young people and Gen Z is that there is a burgeoning industry in Washington, D.C., and it's changing the way lobbyists operate. And I find it kind of interesting and I think it's probably a good thing, because instead of approaching congressmen and women and these other people who may be close to the president or in that sphere directly, they're coming to online influencers who are conservative. And the left has been doing this for a very, very, very long time. So kudos to the right for finally catching up. I mean, during the last election, you had paid social media influencers all over shilling for Joe Biden. And how wonderful he is, and he's just so dreamy looking at him in the aviators. Oh, I'm spooning, and pretending like he had a date on Jeopardy next week, right? And so now the right is doing it. I don't love money being involved, but maybe this is the way we solve some of the problems in our system by moving the money away from going to like your re-election campaign or your PAC or something like that, and it's going to these influencers. Some of them are getting paid a ton of money. That kid CJ Pearson He's like
Yes.
23 years old, right? He came on the scene. He couldn't even vote for Trump the first time around, right? So he came on the scene. He's a huge Trump supporter, loves Trump. You see him everywhere. He is making so much money. He was hired by the Solar Energy Industries Association to promote solar power for conservatives after Trump criticized renewable power. And so he did a video standing next to a sunny window and explained how solar is the ultimate symbol of freedom and all this other stuff. And he has gotten so many deals that he has launched his own firm to help connect other young people, other Gen Z influencers with the companies that are looking for them to do the influencing. So I don't love it, but at the same time, like, I kind of like it because I'm wondering if it'll straighten Congress out. Am I just being way too hopeful? Because I try not to get hopeful because I usually have my hopes dashed. So I'd rather be pleasantly surprised than disappointed. What say you, Rich?
Well, I absolutely, I think it's fantastic. And I think it's just a new version of TV commercials, right? When you turn on your TV and there's a picture of the Capitol building, it's call the Capitol switchboard and dial 202, blah, 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 right? This is that. He's just doing it with way more panache in a different delivery system. But it's there. It's always been there. The issue ads have always been there. It's when the issue ads make their marketing budgets into the pockets of congressmen that it's been an issue, right? And there was always supposed to be this buffer, the lobbyist. And I'm not mad at lobbyists. I think they have a purpose, right? That's what it is. If you want to advance a cause, why not put your money behind your cause? That's, at least hasta la fecha, as we say in Spanish. To date, that is the law, right? Your dollars are your free speech. So it is what it is. But yeah, I think that's fantastic because he's adjusting to the new economy that you and I just mentioned, right? You said, I need to get on Instagram. And he's there, right? This is part of my own reasoning. People ask me, why are you preferring to do streaming programs versus terrestrial radio? That's the only reason. I love terrestrial radio. The only reason, or even my friend Rich Zioli, is because there is zero growth. I haven't heard anybody saying we're building new radio stations. We're putting up new radio towers. I've never heard that. But yes, there are new social media companies, new video streaming networks. All that stuff they're popping up left and right.
Oh, absolutely. And just like they have, you see so many every now and then. I don't know if you watch the press conferences. Sometimes I'll catch them, and you'll see on the side the seats for the new media, right? The new media seats. And every now and then I see a face someone. I'm like, how the hell did he get in there? Right? Like, I just see somebody I know and I'm like, text them like, how did you get in there? I didn't know. But I think it's great. I love the problem always, though, and well, not always, but it really started, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, under Barack Obama, with barring certain media from press conferences, from the press briefing room, from things like that, in order to influence, because they don't like the message. And I know Trump has done it too. Honestly, I thought Jim Acosta, he tried to ban Jim Acosta. Remember when he banned Jim Acosta, right? Then they scream and yell and everything else. But I'm with you. I like this. I think it's a good idea. And the only negative is that gone are the days when you had to sit in the car and listen to whatever your parents were listening to. My father always said, whoever's driving the car gets to command the radio. So I know songs from the 60s and the 50s, and, I know that music. Kids don't know any of that music. You'll say to them, the Beatles, are like, who's that? Right? Well, don't you remember?
I think everybody knows the Beatles.
Don't you remember, who was it? Was it Kanye West who brought Paul McCartney up on stage at a concert? And the young people are commenting, isn't it so, that guy can sing pretty well, that old guy. Wow, it's so nice of Kanye to give that old guy a chance. And I'm sitting here going, how do you not know who he is?
When we come back, I have a story like that.
All right. Don't go anywhere. 855-839-1210 if you want to jump in, and you can hit us up on X. Rich Valdez with an S, Mary Walter Radio. More coming up on 1210 WPHT.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2. And you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbie, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp,
and they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest-growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join our news revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, everyone. It's Don Giordano, and recently I had the chance to sit down and chat with Marine Colonel John Church at the watch party for the Army-Navy game hosted by Navy League Philly. I wanted to learn more about the impact Navy League Philly has. Take a listen.
So, Colonel John Church, you have quite a background. Also, you worked with the Navy League in Ben Salem High School.
I did. I taught there for 5 years. Absolutely loved it. Great opportunity. Great students. Great support from the staff. I have subsequently retired, turned over to Colonel Dave Mills, and I know they're doing a great job. And we, as our Navy League, supported them financially with the donation last year, which they are very grateful to receive.
What's the focus of the Navy League you think that our listeners should know about that they want to support?
Sure, we're always recruiting kind of things that veterans can bring to our organization. And I'm happy to serve and very, very glad to be here.
You can do your part to support our Sea Service members by becoming a member for just $25 a year. Go to NavyLeaguePhilly.org to join.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit ConsumerCellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Costos, and watching sports isn't a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And my show is not a job, it's a passion. From the NFL playoffs to the NBA and everything in between, celebrate sports with me every day on You Better You Bet from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Download the Odyssey app now and listen to Westwood One Sports from anywhere. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos, live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern, presented by BetMGM.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
You have.
All right, I always let this play because I enjoy it.
Everybody.
Do you always dance?
What?
Do you always dance?
Yes, I do. I do. I'm sorry. I said
chair dancing was interesting, especially you had the arms going.
Yeah, I get into it, but I asked the studio to come in with the audio, and then I started talking all over it. So forgive me, guys. Go ahead, roll that. This is Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson.
You have the overarching classification. Everybody has to be. Play on the team that is the same as their sex at birth. But then you have a gender identity definition that is operating within that, meaning a distinction, meaning that for cisgender girls, they can play consistent with their gender identity. For transgender girls, they can't.
So I think that, okay. So as to the part about your ability to pass over from boy to girl,
yes,
you can go from one way but not the other. I want to be clear that BPJ is not challenging that specific classification. I think that's important to start with. But I think, if anything, that's useful evidence as to the lack of a transgender-based discrimination, because if the legislature were just sort of unsettled by the notion of transgender athletes, I think the answer would have been to then bar them from
No, I
passing over
appreciate
anyone
that.
consistent with their gender.
I appreciate that. I guess I was getting at the what I understood the Chief Justice to be trying to discuss, which was this notion that this is really just about the definition of we accept that you can separate boys and girls, and we are now looking at the definition of a girl, and we're saying only people who were girl assigned at birth qualify.
So, girl assigned at birth. Now, last I checked, they didn't assign me anything at birth. I think I was assigned it by God in the womb. But Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, her and her colleague, Justice Sonia Sotomayor, they tend to always want to rock the boat a little bit when it comes to these issues, asking these, I'm not even going to say tough questions. I think they're oftentimes silly questions. But this is the justice in her Senate confirmation hearing that could not define or refused to define what a woman was. But yet here she is arguing about cisgender versus transgender. So I want to get your take on this, because this case is up again in the Supreme Court, whether men can play in girls' sports. Mary Walter, what say you?
Let me give out the number, 855-839-1210. That is our number if you want to jump in here. That's if I give you a hot second to do so. So here's the thing. We're going to your point. We're debating whether biological men can play in women's sports, but yet Ketanji Brown Jackson, one of the women who is sitting in judgment of this, can't tell us what a woman is. So why has she not recused herself from this entire thing? Because she can't tell me what a woman is, but yet she's throwing that word around as if she knows what a woman is. So did she lie in her hearing? She has zero business being sitting on this hearing, in my humble opinion. And I'm not a lawyer, but I always like to say I watch a lot of Judge Judy. So that's the first thing. If this were a Republican, a conservative justice, they would be screaming right now about this, right? They would be up in arms, because they should recuse themselves. That's the first thing. How come we're not discussing why transgendered boys, I don't know which way it goes, whatever, girls who are cosplaying as boys, how come they never want to play on the boys' teams? I mean, if there's no biological difference, right? Then why don't we ever have people assigned female at birth playing on men's teams? How come that doesn't happen? Because to me, that's the fundamental question here. How come it only goes one way? If you're telling me that there's no advantage, then how come you don't see it the other way? Is it because they just don't feel like it? Or is it because they're going to get snapped in two if they try to play football and they're really a chick, right? If they're biological, I don't care. I have seen some women who have become men and they got the facial, they got the whole thing. But 1,000 years from now, if someone happens to come across their skeleton in their basement when they're putting an addition on the house, they're going to dig that puppy up and they're going to know it was a woman who is in that grave because of the biological differences and the chromosomes alone. They're going to say, oh, look, it was a woman who was buried here, dressed in a man's clothes or whatever. So to me, this is a dumb conversation to be had. We have already had women who have been hurt by men playing in their sports. Ketanji Brown Jackson has zero reason being on this case at all, as I said. And you know what the worst part of all of this is? It's going to be the female justices who are going to tank women's rights. I'm done.
Yes, sadly. What I find interesting about this whole thing, Mary Walter, is that it doesn't go away. Right? You would think that it goes away. They keep coming back with new angles and new ways of bringing this right back to the Supreme Court. And it's a shame. I thought that we'd made such headway in the last year or so. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just being pessimistic here. But my hope is that this will go away one day and we'll be back to normal. Maybe that's me pie in the sky thinking. Maybe it's utopian thinking. I don't know.
It's a social contagion, in my humble opinion. I do know, that being said, I think it's a social contagion among children. Puberty's tough, and trust, it's none of us want to go through that again. I don't know anybody who ever wants to go through that again, right? So that's the first thing. It's tough. Everybody's socially awkward. Even the people who you thought had it all together, when they were 13 years old,
yeah.
they will tell you when you get to them, oh my gosh, I hated myself, I hated my hair, I hated whatever it happened to be. So it's a social contagion. And I do know people who have children who are now like in their 20s going through this. And the parents are told, well, if you don't, they're going to kill themselves, all this other stuff. So the parents don't know what to do. I can't imagine what it's like to be a parent to go through this. These kids are lost. Every kid, parent I know who has a kid, and believe it or not, there's several, who is now a girl who used to be a boy. And there's one girl, there's one boy who is now a girl, and there's only one girl who is now a boy. I can't keep it straight. They change their name all the time. It's a different name. Like one of them, when I talk to this person, I don't even ask about how the child is because I can't remember what the name that they're using now because they keep changing their name.
Yeah.
And they don't have a job. Nobody's got a job. They sit at home playing video games. They're lost, and their friends are online. Their social group is online. I think it's a mental health issue. I think when they get to the other side of it, if they ever get some kind of counseling, they go back to what they were.
Well, we'll keep going with that. Hopefully you guys will call in and let us know what you think. And we're going to talk about this kid that went viral with his Philly Eagles reaction video. All of that and more in the next hour with Mary Walter and me, Rich Valdez.
Hey, Jeff, looks like your business is really booming, even in a tough time for businesses like ours.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, thanks to LendSeek, our business was able to take care of some outstanding bills and taxes and to purchase inventory and expand our product lines.
Wow. My business needs working capital, but only from a reputable company that I can trust and count on. How does LendSeek work?
Fast and easy. Just apply at lendseek.com. Their AI lending platform gave my business access to over 100 funding programs with one simple application. And it costs nothing to apply.
At lendseek.com, you can receive business funding with no collateral, no prepayment penalties, and no restrictions on how you use the funds. Whatever your funding needs are, seek no more. Our AI lending marketplace has you covered. If you've been in business at least 1 year with annual revenue of at least $250,000, you could get the funding your business needs in as little as 24 hours. There's no obligation, so apply today at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Gold is now over $4,400 an ounce. Need cash to help pay holiday bills? Go to the Estates Roadshow Monday through Friday and get cash in your hands. Gold and silver, old rings, chains, and even broken jewelry. Don't wait. Cash in while gold is hot by going to the Estates Roadshow. 3 locations this week: Chestnut Hill, Warrington, and Thoroughfare. Bring your gold, silver, coins, diamonds, and watches, even broken pieces, and get cash on the spot. The price of gold is now around $4,400 an ounce, so there's never been a better time to sell. No appointments, no fees, no pressure. Just friendly professional buyers with over 35 years in the business. Go to the Estates Roadshow, Monday through Friday at the Chestnut Hill Hotel, Warrington at the Hampton Inn, or in Thoroughfare at the Best Western. Get some cash in your hands today to help pay those holiday bills at the Estates Roadshow. For more info, visit estatesroadshow.com.
It's a new year, and there's no better time to invest in your smile than right now. It's 2026, and this is the year that you want healthier teeth, greater confidence, and care you can trust. So make your appointment now with Dr. Mike Veneria at Veneria Dental. With Dr. Mike, it's not about cost, it's about care. His compassion and commitment to your health is his top priority, and I should know he's my dentist. And for over 12 years, Dr. Mike has been recognized by his peers as a master of complex dental surgery and procedures. He treats other doctors. He's the guy the experts call the expert in handling complex dental surgeries and procedures. So, my entire family goes to Dr. Mike, and when it comes to your health, you don't cut corners. That's why it's so important. You go to the best and only the best. With 2 offices to serve you in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Make your appointment to get your free dental implant consultation today. If you already had an estimate, get a second opinion. It's worth doing. This is your smile we're talking about. VeneriaDental.com, VANARIA, VeneriaDental.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
SEPTA's general manager hears constructive criticism from riders who endured the closure of the trolley tunnel. Jewish employees at Penn seek legal standing to oppose a federal demand for a list of Jewish organizations. And the bankrupt owner of the former Crozier Health System wants to get rid of medical records.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
At Horizon Heating and Cooling, we know the holidays bring joy, laughter, and lots of people messing with the thermostat. Uncle Steve visiting from out west wants the heat cranked way up, and all the roughhousing little cousins want it Arctic. Horizon will keep your HVAC system running strong all season long with expert installation and same-day emergency service. And right now, get up to $5,000 off a new HVAC system install, plus flexible financing available on installs and major repairs. Book horizonservices.com today.
Iran have told CBS News that at least 12,000 and possibly as many as 20,000 people have been killed. President Trump has posted on social media that help is on the way. Sources say he has been briefed on military and covert options for Iran. The Environmental Protection Agency is weakening air pollution standards for power plants and says it will no longer consider the health impacts of some deadly pollutants. CBS's Allison Keyes.
The EPA says it will increase the levels of nitrogen oxide allowed for newly constructed power plants. That will allow higher emissions of PM 2.5, which experts say is the nation's deadliest air pollutant, which can travel through the lungs and infiltrate the bloodstream. The change is part of the Trump administration's larger goal of slashing regulations, but some experts say the change would increase premature deaths by tens of thousands annually.
Director Timothy Busfield turns himself in to New Mexico authorities after being sought on child sex abuse charges. December's Consumer Price Index shows no change from the month before at 2.7%. Stocks have closed down on Wall Street. The Dow today plunged 398 points. The Nasdaq fell 24, and the S&P 500 slipped 14. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to CBS News Roundup on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Dog owners better bring the pooper scooper and use it because there's a new way of finding out who left the delinquent dog droppings behind. CBS's Bradley Blackburn explains.
Small samples of droppings are sent via vial for DNA testing and compared to a database of dogs. Every resident pup is required to be swabbed so their genetic information can be kept on file. If there's a match, properties can levy fines or punishments. Neighborhood HOAs have signed up, so have campgrounds and dog parks. For responsible dog owners, that's a relief.
I think it's wise. They need to really take care of their dogs.
A DNA watchdog helping communities catch offenders. Keep clean. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Edgewater, New Jersey.
Fanatics, the sports merchandising giant best known for jerseys and collectibles, is moving deeper into entertainment by launching a studio that will produce films, documentaries, live events, and digital series tied to sports and culture. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. Lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
Welcome back to the afternoon show here on 1210 WPHT. Rich is dancing. That's Rich Valdez there, the dancing wonder, the dancing radio guy. Look at him. Isn't that kind of like a dad move? That, you know, the trigger finger with the mouth open is like a dad move. At least you dance better than Tim Walsh and Jacob Fry. So look at it that way. That's a compliment. I'm Mary Walter. If you want to join us, 855-839-1210. You can also tag either one of us on X, Rich Valdez with an S, and Mary Walter Radio. And that's where we are. All right. So let's start like one of the biggest stories, and it's really not being, it's not really being reported on the quote unquote mainstream media, if you will, you know, the ABC, NBC, CBS, that kind of thing, is what's happening in Iran. Is it Iran or Iran? It's Iran. Iran? All right. However you say it. But the one that ends with an N, not a Q. That's the way I remember. It's very hard to remember the two of them because they're right next to each other. One's an N, one's a Q. It's very confusing. You think someone could have come up with a different name. So I don't get confused all the time. So I want to start off with cut 2. And this is Senator Steve Daines out of Montana on Fox Business. And he's talking about how, like, what a big story this is. And we're also going to talk about why you don't see any protesters. That's also, I think, super interesting. But I want to start off with Steve Daines here setting the tone for this entire conversation.
This is a Berlin Wall moment for the Middle East. If you're 45 years old or younger, you've only grown up knowing there's been an Ayatollah in charge in Iran. But I'm old enough to remember, you are as well, Larry, that we used to have Iran as an ally of the United States. The Iranians were helping us in the Middle East. They were helping us push back on then the Soviet influence in the Middle East. This is a remarkable moment. And by the way, it's not by accident. It's been very intentional because of great leaders like President Trump and Bibi Netanyahu with moral clarity, been very decisive. They understand what it takes here to restore true peace and prosperity in the Middle East. And you think about the Iranians. The Iranians and this regime, not the people, but the regime, are the leading state sponsor of terrorism in the world. Let's not forget that. Hezbollah exists because of Iran. Hamas exists. The Houthis exist because of this current regime. So thank God for the resolve of President Trump, for the B-2 bombers that hit Fordo, for the message sent, as Senator Blackburn said, taking out the oil fields. The revenues have been declining, putting Iran in a crisis, economically speaking. This is a moment that's been set up. And we pray and hope for the change coming here in Iran. They'll break the right way, and they'll really restore freedom and liberty to the great people of Iran.
How funny that was, Larry Kudlow. Sounds like Sling Blade. Who was the actor in Sling Blade?
I don't know that one.
All the time. Oh, I can't. Brad, Angelina Jolie's dad.
Oh, John Boyd.
Yes, it was John. Sounds like the guy in Sling Blade. Come on, Steve. Come on, Larry. But this, he said, this is a Berlin Wall moment. And President Trump is giving them, and I think a lot of this has to do with President Trump's peace through prosperity that is just catching fire all across the globe. What did he do yesterday? We talked about it during the show. It happened when we were on the show. He announced the tariffs, right? So here he is trying to strangle them, right? Fiscally. You know, hey, if you want to play with everybody else, Billy Bob Thornton, by the way. Not John Boyd. Billy Bob Thornton it was. So it was not... Billy Bob Thornton, didn't he date Angelina Jolie? Maybe that's what it was.
But,
I think he
but
did. Maybe
Billy Bob and John Boyd are ways off.
Way different people. Totally different people. Thank you, Mangle. But President Trump is so smart. So what is he doing? He's fiscally strangling Iran now. There are a lot of Middle Eastern countries that are like, dude, we're not going to pay. Now if I want my products to go to the U.S., I have to pay a 25% tariff on my products because you're messing around here. So I thought that what's happening here is absolutely right in that it is a Berlin Wall moment. 855-839-1210. You agree?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to disagree. I'm just saying it looks like I feel like I've seen this before, right? And when I say that to my friends who've been down to that part of the world and served in the military there, they say, no, this is different. And the difference being what I was talking about yesterday when I put my tinfoil hat on. And I said that there is an American thumb on the scale of what's happening. And they agree with that statement. So if that's true, then yes, we're going to get to where we have to be. But it's a more measured thumb on the scale than what we saw in previous topplings of governments, if you will, right? So I think the term regime change has this very negative connotation that people don't like. There are a lot of people who are America firsters. Let me rephrase. There are a handful of people that are America firsters that are real isolationists. And the rest of us, I think it's got to be America first, and it's got to be America first everywhere. And that's what President Trump does when he goes into these international scenarios. And he tries to do, in my opinion, the right thing, keeping America's interests first. So I think it's great. Plus, we're looking at what's happening. Yesterday, when that news broke that you just mentioned, Mary Walter, the death toll was 544 people. I saw the death toll today at 2,000. So clearly, these people are being slaughtered for speaking out. And President Trump has a pretty good track record of trying to defend the downtrodden, similar as he's done in Nigeria and other places. So I think there's always a strategic motive, but there's a little bit of goodwill to it as well. And I'm glad it's happening. I'm hopeful that we'll see some progress.
That body count is very, very dependent on the source. I don't think anybody really knows. I think that it's going to be much higher than what we hear initially. I've seen 2,000. I've seen 500. I've seen every number in between. So I think it depends on the source as to exactly where they are. And I don't know what the point is for President Trump to say, okay, enough is enough. And I don't know what he does. I can't speak for anybody else. And if you guys want to jump in, 855-839-1210, I do not want to see us. First of all, I don't think Trump would ever put boots on the ground. I don't see that at all. I don't see that happening. Would he do another strike with Iran, with Israel? Maybe he might do that. But then, of course, the left is going to scream, because they're all of a sudden not for the downtrodden. Now they're for the mullahs. Now all of a sudden the left is on the side of an oppressive regime. Not the first time they've been there, but they'll be there again. But White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt yesterday in front of the West Wing, she was standing there talking to reporters, and she said, I think one thing President Trump is very good at is always keeping all of his options on the table.
Yeah. Well, and I agree. And I'm looking at the note here from the control room saying that President Trump just spoke about Iran about an hour ago and telling people to hold on. Are we able to hear that?
Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions if possible, and save the name of the killers and the abusers that are abusing you. You're being very badly abused. If the numbers are right now, I hear 5 different sets of numbers. I hear numbers, look, 1 death is too much, but I hear much lower numbers, and then I hear much higher numbers. But I say save their names because they'll pay a very big price. And I've canceled all meetings with the Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. And all I say to them is help is on its way. You saw that I put tariffs on anybody doing business with Iran. Just went into effect today. And I say make Iran great again. It was a great country until these monsters came in and took it over.
Yeah. And Trump yesterday announced on Truth Social, he did this today, He announced that he is canceling all his meetings with the Iranian regime until the crackdown on the unrest stops. And he said, Iranian patriots keep protesting, take over your institutions, save the names of the killers and abusers. They will pay a big price. I have canceled all meetings with Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. Help is on its way. Now, see, they're reporting here 646 protesters, but thousands of more deaths to be confirmed. I fear, though, that the protesters think Trump is going to come and save them. You know, he's going to come in, he's going to, you know, wipe out, and they're going to have this free path ahead, and I don't think that that's going to happen. I think President Trump, just like in Venezuela, is like, I'm taking the bad guy out. He took Maduro out. What you do with your country is now on you. Do you see him doing the same thing in Iran?
I think that's President Trump's style, largely, is to say, hey, look, I see this as the problem. I'm going to go after this. And truly being a free people, you figure out what you got to do. I think that's the public posture, and I think he might have a preference on who goes in. I think the two main factions are the group run by Miriam, forget her last name, Rajavi, I believe, and then by the Shah's son. They seem to be warring, right? As you saw in that parade that they were doing, protest parade where they blasted that U-Haul down the road. I don't know, but I do know I don't think Trump is going to say, I think we should put so-and-so in. I think he hasn't done that yet, and I don't think we're going to see that because he wants to steer clear from the regime change allegations. And I think he really believes that, right? He was very critical of us putting Hamid Karzai and others in office a million years ago with Iraq and with all of the outspill that had. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're really going to have to step up. But that doesn't mean, you know, they say, well, what if we do it, right? We being any one of the multiple partners he's made in the Middle East, not the least of which Israel, him saying, hey, that's on you, right? You do what you got to do. I'm doing this. So, and I think that's probably the best approach.
Yeah. German Chancellor Merz, once he predicted the end to the Ayatollah's regime. He said, I assume that what we are now witnessing is the final days and weeks of this regime. He said this in India today. He said, when a regime can only maintain power through violence, then it is effectively at its end. The population is now rising up against this regime, but we've seen it happen before. It's not the first time that we've seen this happen, so I don't think it's going to be the last time that we see this happen either. I think that they now, that maybe this time is different though, because as we talked about yesterday, it's not just the kids, it's shopkeepers, it's the older generation, it's everything. And Poly Markets now has the supreme leader, because you can bet anything. Nowadays, you can bet on anything. Poly Markets now has the supreme leader out by the end of the year. Over 60% of people, the odds have verged past 60%, who say he will be out before the end of the year. Now, there are reports, and I'm sure we've all seen them, that a young man, 26 years old, named Irfan Soltani, is scheduled to be hanged tomorrow, because after he was arrested in the protests last week, and his family was told that he had been sentenced to death, and the sentence is due to be carried out in 14 days. So it's scheduled for tomorrow. The risk of mass and extrajudicial executions of protesters is extremely serious, according to this Iran human rights group. Under the responsibility to protect, the international community has a duty to protect civilian protesters against mass killings by the Islamic Republic and its Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. We call on people in civil society and democratic countries to remind their governments of this responsibility. Again, I think, as we can see, they're asking other parts of the world to come in and do this. He allegedly was denied access to a lawyer. He was charged with waging war against God, which is a crime punishable by death. I don't know how you prove that in a court of law, but I'm pretty sure they don't have to prove it. They just make the allegation. But I want to tie it in with one more thing. Because this guy is set to be put to death, if he is put to death, Is that when we see the protesters in the streets? Because the protesters are nowhere to be found because they're not being paid for this. They're too busy with the ICE thing, and I guess there's not enough of them to go around. Is that when we see the protesters? What do you think?
I don't know. You've stumped me, Mary Walter. You've stumped me. This is an interesting situation. I don't know. I think the protesters aren't going to stop. I think with the death toll that we're seeing, and if you and President Trump are right, and you seem to be on the same page, both saying we're not seeing the right numbers, I don't think they're being inflated. That's for sure. So if they're being deflated, then people are putting their lives on the line because they think now is the moment. They're seeing things happen in Venezuela. They're seeing things. I think momentum is a thing, right? It really is a thing where people say, it's now or never. And something Congressman Daines mentioned before about if you're 45 years old, you've never seen a free Iran. That's a wild thing, right? I mean, I take for granted all the freedom and liberty that we have. And, I sit here and I throw rocks all day long at the administration of Barack Obama for encroaching on so many of our liberties, yet we still have our country. Just imagine living under a theocracy like they do in Iran, or the people that were doing business with the United States and Venezuela, with Exxon and Chevron and making all this money, and Argentina being, the star of South America and now being, the Haiti of South America. It's an eye-opening thing to see. So I think when people go out to the streets and they're putting their life on the line, they're playing for keeps, and it seems like they're not stopping. And I think Godspeed to them, and with a message like that from the President of the United States saying, hey, hold on, help's on the way, I'm going all in too.
Yeah. Let's very quickly, let's just go to cut 15 here. This is an Iranian protester in L.A. You had mentioned the protest and the truck that had barreled into this.
Yeah.
And we still don't know a motive. We have no idea. The guy had anti-Shah signs on the side of the truck, but he also had current regime signs on his truck as well. So he I guess maybe he's just anticipating, trying to get ahead of it, going, okay, no mullahs, but also no Shah. And I don't know what he wants to put in there, but we'll find out more. This is an Iranian protester in LA calling out Democrats.
I used to be a Democrat. I stood by you guys because you promised us liberty, justice, diversity. This is not diversity. Your silence is complicit. Democrats, wake the damn up. This is not okay. Iranian people right now, they're in prison. They're in prison. They're in complete digital blackout. How can you be silent?
Yeah, how could you be silent? Do you think people are waking up to the fact that Democrats only care about certain people at certain times when they can use them?
It depends on what day of the week it is, right? There's days I hear stuff like that and I go, wow, look at that. That's somebody I didn't think that was going to speak that way or say something like that. But then, you just, I don't know, just pass by any local organized labor union place. And if they're not steam fitters or Teamsters, who kind of sided with Trump in the last election, they're all in with the Democrats, despite having different value systems and whatnot. So as long as the power structure is there, the day I meet a teacher that's like, oh, yeah, I'm wearing my red MAGA hat to school, and I find, 100 teachers that are MAGA, then I'm going to say, okay, I think we're changing the tide. But right now, the labor unions seem to have a death grip on the Democrats have a death grip on the labor unions.
To a certain extent, though. Remember, some of them endorsed Trump, so...
Like 3, yeah. But yes.
Yeah,
progress.
But still, that's more than before. And I just think everyday people, though, like this protesters, like in LA, calling out Democrats, I think is kind of a huge deal. And thank you to Justin saying it's now up to almost 70% for, excuse me,
for the poly markets.
Poly markets has a U.S. or Israeli strike on Iran. By January 31st, it's 69%. So there you go. All right, more coming up. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the afternoon show on 1210 WPHT.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BLING to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BLING for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BLING for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have someone else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement but don't have a plan customized to your goals, that's kind of like taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in your suitcase. Seems like a stressful way to start what should be a relaxing time. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to help reduce future taxes, along with a clearly defined income strategy. Call Jim at 610-894-7415 for your complimentary retirement game plan, or visit retirereadyfg.com. That's 610-894-7415.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Hola, amigos! It's a big noise. Brad Evans from BetMGM tonight. Listen Monday through Friday starting at 6 p.m. Eastern on Westwood One Sports as we cover the biggest sports stories from coast to coast. Get insights on the NFL playoffs, college basketball conference races, and more. Download the Odyssey app now and listen from anywhere. BetMGM tonight, live and interactive, presented by BetMGM. Tune in, Team Huevos.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Amazon is expanding the artificial intelligence capabilities of its Alexa voice assistant. The e-commerce firm launched Alexa.com, which can be used across a number of devices, with Amazon saying users can get quick answers, explore complex topics, plan trip itineraries, and get help with homework. Amazon is competing against other AI assistants, including OpenAI's ChatGPT and Google's Gemini. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling.
I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
I wonder if you know. What is this wonder if you know about? What's going on here? I don't know what this is, but if you guys know, good for you. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive Show with Mary Walter and Rich Valdez. Happy to be here with you. You know the phone number. It's 855-839-1210. And yes, I want to talk about, the first thing I want to mention here is, I hear that on the YouTube chat, somebody's saying that they think I'm Greg Stocker. Greg Stocker has like 10 times the amount of hair that I have, number one. But anyway.
They're talking about your voice.
Ah, okay. He must have some
They know what Greg
smooth
Stocker looks
vibes.
like. They know you do not look like Greg Stocker.
I would presume that, right?
Yeah.
I'm brown,
Yeah.
I'm bald, I'm breaking it down. But I wanted to get into this breaking
And
news,
you're wearing
right?
a jacket.
Well, thank you. The breaking news is that Bill Clinton has flipped the proverbial bird to Congress, right? He dissed Congress saying, no, I'm not showing up. I don't care about your subpoena. I don't care about any of that stuff. And James Comer clapped back. Listen to this. 14.
All right. Well, I think everyone knows by now Bill Clinton did not show up. And I think it's important to note that this subpoena was voted on in a bipartisan manner by this committee. This wasn't something that I just issued as chairman of the committee. This was voted on by the entire committee in a unanimous vote of the House Oversight Committee to subpoena former President Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton's supposed to show up tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. But with respect to the former president, he did not show up today. One reason I think most Americans want President Clinton to answer some questions is because he visited the White House. Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House 17 times while Bill Clinton was president. I've been in Congress 9 years. I think I've been to the White House 9 times in 9 years. Epstein was in the White House double the amount of time that I was under one president. And then we know that Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's plane somewhere around 27 times after the presidency. So no one's accusing Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing. We just have questions, and that's why the Democrats voted along with Republicans to subpoena Bill Clinton. Not a single Democrat showed up today. Not a single Democrat. The ones that have press conferences on the Capitol steps and talk about how they're trying to get justice for the victims and all that. It just seems like they only care about questioning Republicans. And we've had a former Trump cabinet secretary, Acosta, in for a grilling. We had Bill Barr, former attorney general, in for a grilling. But for whatever reason, President Clinton didn't show up, and the Democrats on the committee don't seem to have a problem. This is the amount of preparation that went into this deposition today. These were the questions that we were prepared to ask. We've communicated with President Clinton's legal team for months now, giving them opportunity after opportunity to come in, to give us a date, and they continue to delay to the point where we had no idea whether they're going to show up today or not. I think it's very disappointing. As a result of Bill Clinton not showing up for his lawful subpoena, which again was voted on unanimously by the committee in a bipartisan manner, we will move next week in the House Oversight Committee markup to hold former President Clinton in contempt of Congress. So,
now, I guess what really happens? Will President Clinton be held in contempt of Congress? His team Clinton says these subpoenas are unenforceable. Have a nice day. Mary Walter, what do you think?
He's not going to be held in contempt. Republicans don't do that. They've had the opportunity to do it before, and they let the statute of limitations expire every single time, and that's that. Republicans are the only ones who are met at the airport from, Peter Navarro, for instance, for maximum humiliation, put in leg irons and handcuffed in front of everybody for maximum humiliation, and then they go cool their feet in jail for a while. They wind up in jail. Republicans have no. And if I were a Democrat, I would say pound sand too, because nothing's gonna happen, because there's not enough women on that committee to say enough of the foolishness. We need to do this. The men have zero guts. They're not gonna do anything. No spine.
So, do you think that this is going to be the same situation that transpires with the investigation into Powell? Is it going to end up being the same way? That's a criminal investigation, or do you think that has no teeth as well?
Well, they're saying Jeanine Pirro did say that this is not a threat. The word indictment has come out of his mouth, no one else's, and that none of this would have happened if they had just responded to us, reaching out to them. But he didn't respond. We had questions about the overruns on the project, and his office didn't respond. She said this office makes decisions based on the merits. So she says, we do agree with him that no one's above the law, and that's why we expect his cooperation. But she said, I never said he was under indictment. I never said we were preparing an indictment for Powell. So for Powell. Yes, for Powell. So, and he's the one who's all like, oh, subpoenas and this and that. She's like, we only subpoenaed information because you didn't cooperate with us. So I don't think Powell winds up in trouble either. Again, he's going to be he's leaving at the end of May. He just wants to be a martyr. He, like everyone else in the Democrat Party, must reach the pinnacle of the pyramid of victimhood and become a martyr. And that's what he wants. He wants to be able to put the crown on his head and wail and moan and everybody tell him how great he is, and then off he goes into the sunset and collects his pension.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. That's always my thought. I've mentioned to you before that I have a couple of brothers. I have a bunch. I'm the youngest of a whole bunch. And one of my brothers is a big QAnon guy. Big. I mean,
yeah, you're talking about him.
Yeah, and I have another one who's, more of a crypto guy. But anyway, he flirts with the tinfoil hat. And so I get it. I'm on a group chat with them all day long. And I tell him, listen, from my experience in government, my experience on national campaigns, I can tell you that the deep state, if you will, permanent Washington, whatever name you like to call it, the administrative state, they look out for themselves. And people that end up coming in as outsiders and reformers, not Trump, but pretty much all but Trump, not all, but many, they realize that it's very difficult to drain an actual swamp. Right? It doesn't come with a drain plug. It's not something you can just pull the plug. It's not that simple. And these alligators, the swamp creatures, they don't like to go peacefully, right? They go kicking and screaming. And I oftentimes share a story. I worked in the New Jersey state government, and I can tell you that I was appointed by Governor Chris Christie, and I got into a little dust-up with a big lefty, and he found out that I was appointed to the administration, that I was not a civil service person, and everything changed. And this guy came after me. I had to end up leaving, right? Tucking tail and running. I had to go to a different department. And I eventually left that department too, because I realized this isn't for me. It's not for the faint of heart. And they came up with everything under the sun because they are experts at everything. And just to give you an example of what they did, it's like death by 1,000 cuts. One of the first things they did was they said, hey, you've been here a year and a half. In the year and a half you were here, you were classified as, I don't know, whatever letter it was, A, B, or C. You have this kind of travel class because your job is to travel the state. Well, that was an error. And now you're no longer allowed to get reimbursed for your mileage. And I said, all right, well, if that was an error, that's, it's not my error, it's your error. I submitted all of my mileage to the director of this division and then to the state treasurer and got reimbursed. That wasn't good enough for them. They turned around and said, no, you owe us, I don't know, something like $5,000 or $6,000. Right? This is the type of games that they play when they decide not to like you. They will stick out their leg and try and trip you up every step of the way. And that was just me, a lowly sub-cabinet person in a state government. Imagine somebody of significant import working in a presidential administration like El Trompitos. I tell you, the swamp doesn't slow down. So Powell, just like Comey, right? Or what about Letitia James? I mean, you can try to do the right thing, but they will come up with every reason and figure out any way they can to outmaneuver you because in many ways they wrote these rules.
Well, the problem is, and I agree with you 100%, everything you said, and which I find shocking, by the way, that you were targeted because you are adorable.
Oh,
so
thank you.
I find it's weird how they just pick people. But anyway, what I find so maddening about the whole thing is that the Democrats are above the law. And the Republicans allow it. If the Republicans would just play by the same rules that the Democrats do, if they would just follow the Democrats' lead and just give what they get, Washington would be a much better place.
Yeah.
You would have drained a lot of the swamp. I don't know whether they like being beaten. I don't know whether Republicans have this weird sadomasochistic thing going on there. I don't know if it's like, I don't know what the hell, because who knows what goes on in that we saw some of the stuff during the Biden administration of what goes on there. I don't know what's going on, but they love being taken advantage of. They love being held to a higher standard. They love proving that they are morally superior. They ousted George Santos. In the meantime, Ilhan Omar still wandering around. They purposely put themselves lower than the Democrats, and I will never understand it, and it's why I'm not a registered Republican.
Yeah, well, I could see how the critique is, ringing true in many ways. But I'll say this first, just to add a little color to what's going on. What they did to me, the targeting, I'll tell you what the targeting was. I got invited to the governor's Christmas party, and there's like a receiving line. You get a photo, and then they post it on the Drump Thwacket website. And there was a picture of me gripping and grinning with Chris Christie and Mary Pat Christie, the governor. And they saw that on my computer screen when I was looking at it. I'd gotten an email saying, the pictures are available. I opened it up during my lunch. And he saw it. He said, why were you there? Why did you do that? And I said, what? And he said, why did you go there? And I was like, the Christmas party? I was like, I don't know. I got invited by the governor to the governor's mansion. I think you want to say yes, right? And he was like, oh, no. And then he immediately followed it up with this question. What do you think of Planned Parenthood? And I was like, He had figured it out. He was trying to put two and two together. He wanted to see if I was one of those because Chris Christie was cutting programs left and right, a lot of leftist programs. And that was what put the target on my back. And this guy was juiced in. He had so many friends, and he was a nobody, but he had a lot of friends. And that's how Washington works. That's how New Jersey works. That's how I would, dare I say, many state governments work. But I think with the other side of what you're talking about, where Republicans lack the spine to do this and to do that, is because they're just not built the same, right? Most people that are Republicans, from what I've learned in my experience, they're relatively decent people, most of them. They don't wake up and say, I'm going to figure out how to get over on you. And that is how many successful Democrats. You said before, a Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is a straight-up gangster, right? She was raised by a gangster. So if you don't come from that gangster mentality, you're just like, hey, I just want you to leave me alone, mind my business, do my thing. And they don't want to mind their business. They're minding your business. That's how Democrats work. So until Democrats wake up and they're just as motivated for the wrong reasons as many of the Democrats are, I think that's a age-old problem that will persist.
And you can sit on your holy high ground alone and lose. So it's not about being a gangster. It's not about not having the morals or anything else. It's playing by the rules that your opponent has chosen to play by. It's like playing Chutes and Ladders with a 3-year-old, right? Or 4-year-old, they're 5-year-old, 6-year-old. They're going to cheat. They're at that age. They're going to cheat and they make up their own rules. As an adult, you don't play by them. But these are adults who are messing with people's lives, who are messing with our government, messing with our money, who are fundamentally changing this country. If I have to fight for this country and you start cheating, I'm going to cheat too. I'm now going to follow your rules because I believe that my cause to save this country is worth it. And I don't want to hand kids, grandchildren, a fascist, socialist, on our way to communist government because, well, I'm better than that. I didn't want to play the way they played. No, you fight. Can you imagine if our founding fathers felt that way? Can you imagine we never would have won a battle because we fought from the trees. We hid. We ambushed them. We didn't play by the rules. That's how we won the Revolutionary War beyond all odds. Because we didn't play by the rules. We cheated. We did what we had to do to preserve our way of life. So to me, that is just no disrespect to you, but those in Congress who feel that way, and that's what they're doing. Well, I don't want. No, get the hell out of Congress then, because I want a fighter. That's why people love Trump. That's why people love Trump, because he's a fighter, and the rest of them around him, a bunch of namby-pamby soy boys, even though they're Republicans, you could still be a soy boy with no spine who just want to get reoelected. So if that's who you are, get the hell out of line and let a fighter have the job.
Listen, nobody leaves voluntarily, Mary Walter. They have to go on their own.
Well, the women, some of them do. Some of them do. At least Stefanik left, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, but she wasn't one of them. She was one of the best fighters out there.
She was, and she probably got tired of it because nobody was fighting with her. She was fighting, both of them were fighting by themselves.
And that's the point that I'm trying to make here is ultimately you get somebody like Trump that comes along, gives you the blueprint, he shows you how it's done, and some figure out how to do it. I would say Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, the people in his closest circle, they've figured it out. They're like, you know what? You've got to stay on offense. You never take your foot off the gas. You go at them just as hard as they're coming at you, if not harder. And that's the way you do it. And if you don't do that, then you are the rest, of the Republican Party that is, labeled as spineless. And that's going to be a war of attrition because they're not going to just leave on their own. They've got to be taken out. And I mean politically speaking, right? Before somebody says, Valdez called to kill spineless Republicans. No, not at all.
No, I agree 100% with everything that you have said. Look at that. You got a woman agree with everything you said.
I'll drink to that. Women usually agree with everything I say.
All right, more coming up. You are listening to Rich Valdez, Mary Walter here on 1210 WPHT.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there.
Looking for beautiful, high-quality furniture for your home? Look no further than Bucks County Estate Traders. Skip the big chains and discover their massive showroom in Hatfield, packed with 16,000 unique pieces, where you can furnish your whole home in one easy visit. Shop comfortably and get it delivered locally or wherever you are. Thanks to their exclusive white glove carrier network, Bucks County Estate Traders handles delivery nationwide, so you can save time, effort, and money. Visit buckscountyestatetraders.com or their showroom in Hatfield today.
At Citizens, we help make sense of your money and all your money questions.
Should I pay down my debt or start an emergency fund?
Is now the right time to start saving?
How can I move my financial goalposts even an inch?
Can money actually buy happiness?
What's it take to live like a royal in Queen Village?
Whatever money questions you have, Citizens has the answers. Make sense of your money at citizensbank.com/made-ready. Member FDIC.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for all these years. Now it's time for you to hear from one of our great clients.
Investor Schooling lives up to the promises. Larry's a great teacher, teaches about the whole new approach to thinking about money. I've taken to heart many of the things that he's taught me, and my financial life has improved.
Come to Investor Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie and change your financial life. Go to investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday.
Hi, Dawn Stensland here. Look around your home right now, especially the kitchen and the bathrooms. Obviously, you use them every day. Think about a refresh. And that's where my friends at Kitchen Magic come in. They're family-owned, crafting high-quality American-made kitchens and baths, and they make the process so simple from start to finish. Right now, you enjoy 30% off kitchen cabinet refacing, 50% off bathroom installations. Start the new year with a home that looks better and works better for you. KitchenMagic.com. Do it today. Tell them Dolan sent you.
Rhea here to tell you about the excitement happening now at Lexus of Cherry Hill. The L-certified Winter Collection Sales event is on. New year, new ride. Get special finance rates on L-certified Lexus models now through March 2nd. With over 300 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from, your next Lexus is waiting. Family and veteran-owned and operated, Lexus of Cherry Hill is proud to be an 8-time J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence for customer sales experience. Start your journey today at LexusofCherryHill.com.
For J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence information, visit jdpower.com/US-DOE.
Prioritize yourself and make your dream of an attractive, healthy smile a reality at PI Dental Center. The professionals at PI Dental have been transforming patients' smiles for over 38 years. Board-certified specialists, Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, perform complex dental makeovers with their Teeth in a Day protocol, where dental implants are placed and restored with fixed teeth in just one day. It's time to invest in yourself. For a smile that's monumental, trust PI Dental. Visit PIDentalCenter.com.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Counterfeit products are popping up everywhere. If you think buying them is harmless, think again. Counterfeits are usually made with hazardous and even lethal ingredients that could harm you and others. And the money you paid, it goes right into the hands of criminals. Remember, if you don't know where the products came from, how could you know where the money goes? You're smart. Buy smart. Go for real. Learn more at McGruffPSA.org. This message is brought to you by the United States Patent and Trademark Office and the National Crime Prevention Council.
You can now tune in to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
My name is Keith Ellison. I'm the Attorney General for the state of Minnesota, and I'm so honored to be joined and in partnership with the city of Minneapolis under the leadership of my friend Jacob Fry, and the city of St. Paul under the leadership of Mayor Herr, who is also a dear friend of many years. We've come together, and we're here to announce a lawsuit we're filing against the United States Department of Homeland Security to end the unlawful, unprecedented surge of the federal law enforcement agents into Minnesota. Because this has to stop. It just has to stop. We allege that the obvious targeting of Minnesota for our diversity, for our democracy, and our differences of opinion with the federal government is a violation of the Constitution and of federal law. We allege that the surge's reckless impact on our schools, on our local law enforcement, is a violation of the 10th Amendment and the sovereign laws and powers of the Constitution grants to states. We allege that DHS's use of excessive and lethal force, their warrantless, racist arrests, their targeting of our courts, our churches, houses of worship, and schools are a violation of the Administrative Procedures Act on arbitrary and capricious federal actions. And we ask that the courts will end the surge of thousands of DHS agents into Minnesota.
That was Keith Ellison, the Attorney General for Minnesota, hacking up along during that press conference. He's got the phlegm. But how lovely is it? How just so insanely, joyfully delicious is it that they're suing for the surge of ICE agents into Minnesota? They are a hotbed of fraud. They should be so happy that the focus is on ICE and not the fraud. But I think they're afraid that the Somalis are going to go and then they don't have the fraud, and they don't have the voters, and they don't have the census. So it's a lose all the way around for them. But Rich, how funny is it that he's preserving democracy with this? He's preserving democracy by keeping people in Minnesota who have been accused or have deportation orders already, or who are wanted on murder in their home countries, or for, beating up a woman here, or rape, or prostitution, all these wonderful crimes that an American would already be in jail for, they're preserving democracy by doing that.
Mary Walter, this stuff is crazy and it's getting out of control. He's suing the United States government for doing what they and only they can do, right? The Constitution makes it very clear that there are certain functions like protecting the homeland, immigration enforcement. These are solely the responsibility of the federal government. There is no State Department of Immigration. They don't have this authority. So it's laughable that the Attorney General does this. I mean, it's almost like saying, we're running away from the cops and we're suing the cops for chasing us. It's just insane.
Yes, that's perfect. That is a perfect example. But not only that, back to what I keep saying. They started this. They tipped the first domino by saying, we are not going to turn these people over, these criminals. We're not going to hold them and turn them over to be deported because we think that's mean. So we're going to break the law. And now they're upset that the federal government's like hell you are, and we'll come in and we'll do it forcefully. So they're basically suing because they broke the law, and now there are repercussions for breaking the law. So it's a temper tantrum, from best I can tell.
If I were in Minnesota, if I were a radio guy there, I would be bringing the heat to them, because I put the death of this woman not at the hands of the ICE agent. I put it at the hands of Mr. Fry.
Yep.
And
100%.
whomever's in charge of the police.
Waltz. Yep.
Because they needed local and state police to be backing up the federal agents. And there were none to be found when that stuff went down. So these guys are doing their own crowd control, keeping them away from themselves, where you would have locals doing that. And all because they claim to be a sanctuary city or a sanctuary state, which in and of itself, in my opinion, is an unconstitutional thing. Nullification isn't legal. And it's high time. If anybody's listening, Harmeet Dillon, Janine Pirro, anybody, Pam Bondi, please bring a case somehow, somewhere, the Solicitor General, somebody needs to bring a case to the Supreme Court or through the ranks where we challenge nullification so that every single sanctuary city and state in this country is abolished.
Yeah, well, if you could find Pam Bondi, good luck with that. More coming up on the afternoon show here on 1210 WPHT.
Guys, if you want the greatest night of your life, I mean your best night ever, then you gotta hear this. There's a new ED pill out, and it's from the makers of Viagra. It's their first new ED pill in over 20 years. This new super pill is called Viagra AGV, and it's unbelievable. It works super fast in only 11 minutes and lasts up to 14 hours, thanks to its new vasodynamic delivery system. Plus, it's FDA approved and safe. There has never been any ED pill like it. It's unreal what it does to you. In testing, Viagra AGV crushed every other ED pill. It destroyed them all. And now, 9 out of 10 urologists are recommending Viagra AGV over any other ED pill. Every man alive needs to try this new Viagra AGV super pill at least once. Then you'll know why men are going crazy over it. So if you want to have the most incredible night of your life, you can't miss this. Go to scoreblue.com and try it while supplies last. That's scoreblue.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
This year, it was important for my business to start strong.
Starting week is not recommended.
But first, I needed a lot of stuff for the office.
Sounds like a shopping spree.
I just went to Staples. They have great prices on everything, like ink, toner, printers, paper, and chairs. And now, you can get up to 30% off select HP printers.
Up to 30% off HP printers? Am I on a hidden camera show?
No.
Well then, let's go Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. Ends 1/31. Select models only.
It's a new year, and there's no better time to invest in your smile than right now. It's 2026, and this is the year that you want healthier teeth, greater confidence, and care you can trust. So make your appointment now with Dr. Mike Veneria at Veneria Dental. With Dr. Mike, it's not about cost, it's about care. His compassion and commitment to your health is his top priority, and I should know he's my dentist. And for over 12 years, Dr. Mike has been recognized by his peers as a master of complex dental surgery and procedures. He treats other doctors. He's the guy the experts call the expert in handling complex dental surgeries and procedures. So, you know, my entire family goes to Dr. Mike, and when it comes to your health, you don't cut corners. That's why it's so important. You go to the best and only the best. With 2 offices to serve you in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Make your appointment to get your free dental implant consultation today. If you already had an estimate, get a second opinion. It's worth doing. This is your smile we're talking about. VeneriaDental.com, VANARIA, VeneriaDental.com.
More anti-government protests and gunfire. President Trump says he is aware of a pretty substantial number of people have been killed over more than 2 weeks in Iran and has said on social media that help is on the way. In an exclusive interview at the Dearborn, Michigan Ford plant, Trump is asked by CBS Evening News' host Tony DeCopel.
Now we're hearing that they're going to start hanging protesters tomorrow. So it comes back to the question, have they crossed your red line or has the line moved?
I haven't heard about the hanging. If they hang them, you're going to see some things that I don't know what where you come from and what your thought process is, but you'll perhaps be very happy.
What do you mean by that?
We will take very strong action. If they do such a thing, we will take very strong action.
You can see the full interview on the CBS Evening News tonight. President Trump is praising the economy. CBS's Linda Kenyon.
In a speech before the Detroit Economic Club, the president essentially said, business is good.
I'm back in Michigan to report to you on the strongest and fastest economic turnaround.
But he also repeated his complaints against Fed Chairman Jerome Powell and interest rate policy.
I want somebody that when the market is doing great, interest rates can go down because our country becomes stronger.
The president has dramatically escalated his confrontations with the Fed chairman in recent weeks.
Director and actor Timothy Busfield has turned himself in to New Mexico authorities after being sought on child sex abuse charges. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
Albuquerque police issued an arrest warrant on counts of criminal sexual contact of a minor and child abuse. The acts allegedly occurred on the set of the TV series The Cleaning Lady. Busfield directed and acted in the series. A criminal complaint accuses him of touching a young boy, allegations he's denied here on TMZ.
And I'm going to be exonerated. I know I am, because this is all so wrong and all lies.
He suggested the boy's mother was seeking revenge for her children being replaced on the series.
After hearing arguments, the U.S. Supreme Court seems likely to uphold state transgender athlete bans. Meantime, at an LGBTQ+ center in Los Angeles, legal representatives and others spoke in support of the community. Connie Jeanette Madden called on people to take action.
We're not tired because we are resilient people. We have been resilient throughout history. But we're wondering, when are you going to step up?
Scott Adams created the comic strip Dilbert, which ridiculed white-collar office life. His ex-wife, Shelley Miles, says he has died at age 68. Adams had prostate cancer that spread to his bones. Stocks fell on Wall Street today. This is CBS News.
I'm Andrew Garrett. Follow and listen to The Takeout on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
The search is on for several monkeys on the loose in St. Louis.
The vervet monkeys, native to sub-Saharan Africa and illegal to own in St. Louis, have been spotted numerous times since Thursday. There are at least 4 of them. It's not clear where they came from. Dana Savarelli is the director of Monkey Island Rescue.
As far as it being life-threatening with this size monkey, no. I would much more worry about a dog by far.
That being said,
don't grab them and assume they're going to cuddle up to you.
What will Caroline Dunn do if she sees one of them?
Run. Run for my life.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The BBC will ask a judge to dismiss President Trump's $10 billion lawsuit against the broadcaster. Trump filed the lawsuit claiming defamation and unfair trade practices over a documentary that edited a speech he made on January 6, 2021, before the U.S. Capitol attack. Papers filed in Florida say the BBC will argue the court lacks jurisdiction and that Trump failed to state a claim. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, The Drive at 5. 30 minutes of non-stop talk from Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
What's up, Philadelphia? It's Rich Valdez, your liberty-loving Latino amigo. Happy to be here with you. And we're joined by the queen of the afternoon, Mary Walter. And I'm looking at an update on my screen here that there is a viral video of El Trompito visiting the Ford factory, and somebody called him something very untoward. They said he was a pedophile protector, and his response, well, it seems like he mouthed the word that started with F, rhymes with luck, and ends with you. Listen to this. All right. Now, that was the background audio for everybody who couldn't see the really cool video. If you're checking it out on WPHT website, then you're able to see it. But yeah, he mouthed those words in true El Trompito fashion. Good for him, doubling down, right, Mary Walter?
But he says it twice. He says it twice. He points to the guy, says it while he's walking, and he points to him again, says it again. You could see, or he mouths it very, very, very clearly and distinctly. And then as he keeps walking, he flips the guy the bird.
That's great. The proverbial friendship finger. I love it.
Well,
and this is why I think people love El Trompito, like we were talking about before, because he is a fighter. He doesn't stay put. You know, I interviewed President Trump once, and I remember he was on the show, and I asked him, I said, people say you're very toxic, sir. What's up with that? And he says, well, Rich, it's because I've got to fight back. People come at me and I've got to fight back. I'm a fighter. And he's 100% right. And that's why I always say he gives us the example. We just need to follow it.
It's never going to happen. Too many Republicans are too comfortable getting their butts kicked. And by the way, he's hilarious. He is a very, very, very funny man. He has a wicked sense of humor. You could tell, and he loves to troll people. He loves to troll. He loves to, and he knows exactly what he's doing, and he relishes it. Very funny. I think he's got a great sense of humor, and his personality doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother you. You were born and raised in New York, and then you made you took the Benny path back to New Jersey. You evacuated like a Benny, and then me being in New Jersey my whole life, he's always been a fixture. So the way he speaks and things like that don't bother me at all. I don't care if it's presidential or not. Are you getting the job done? Good. I don't care.
Well, and to that point, I love the fact that he's redefining what presidential is. And not once, but twice, right? It wasn't a consecutive term. He literally took a break for 4 years, got shot in the ear, and came back. So for anybody who's a real naysayer, a real hater, a real doubter, America wanted Trump. And I love that. I really do. I love that happened. Now, Mary Walter, there's additional updates here on President Trump. We've got Trump canceling the Biden rule that is forcing loans to illegals from the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau and the Justice Department, eliminating these guidelines. And I'm thinking, man, it's about time. No?
Well, I never understood how, like I know when I go to get a loan for a house or whatever, I have to have all these papers. I have to have my driver's license. I have to have proof. I have to have mail from my place of address. Like, I have to prove all this stuff. And if these people are in the country illegally, how do they have any collateral to get a loan? That's what I don't understand. Right. Because aren't they all poor and downtrodden and just here for a better life and doing the jobs that Americans don't want to do? Where's all the money coming from to back up these loans? Where's the collateral coming from to back up these loans? I tried, okay, quick story.
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course.
So I had to go to the bank in town, which I am not, and they're closing anyway because there's not enough people. But anyway, so my husband had an account there, and I just needed to deposit some checks for him. And everybody knows it. I live in a town with 3,500 people, including children. It's not that big. It's 1.1 square miles of land, and the rest of it's water. So I go in. I know everybody. Hi, how that? And I go to the teller, and we're talking, and there's a guy I know next to me. I'm like, Albert, how you doing? And I go hand it. She goes, do you have ID? I'm like, what do you mean ID? I'm putting a check in the bank. She goes, well, this clearly isn't your check. She goes, I know, but you need ID. I'm like, to put money in the bank, I need ID. Now, next to me, there's a line. It's a Friday. There's a whole bunch of guys walking up to this one specific teller. They have their own line. Nobody hablas English, right? And they're all just giving their checks, and they have to have someone come over, look at it, and sign the back of it. A special person comes over and signs for it.
Like from the bank?
Uh-huh. Nobody's showing ID.
But you, ma'am.
But
you must show ID to put money in the bank.
In the bank. So that was the wrong thing to ask me, because I pointed out very loudly, hey, what about over here? Should I just get in this line over here? Because this line over here is handed out money with no ID. You want ID for me to put money in? What's going on over here? And so the manager comes over. Do you know what was going on? It was a construction company. And they know the construction company has the account there and is good for it. So they would cash those checks because there was a string of illegals. And I said, oh, does the National Bank know you're doing this? And then the other person that I knew in the bank goes, yeah, how come I have to show ID? And this whole thing erupted. I don't understand why we make citizens jump through hoops. And Biden has a rule that forced them to make loans that you can't verify who they are. It's insane.
Yeah. Well, it is insane, but it sounds like something the Democrats would concoct. It sounds exactly like something they would do. And El Trompito, he's doubling down on this stuff, and he's saying, look, we don't want any of this, right? He was speaking at the Ford plant today, and he said starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states that have sanctuary cities because it breeds fraud and crime. I believe we have audio of President Trump saying this. If we do, let her rip.
We're giving 90-day notices to places like California, Scott. Right away, we're going to send out that notice. Who would bill the federal government as people poured into the state to send those people back because no country can afford to do it? No country can afford to take in millions of people, pay for their education, their health care, their hospitals. You just can't do it. And we all have a heart. You can't do it. But many of those people are murderers. They're people released from jails, prisons, mental institutions, insane asylums. They're people that are drug dealers. They're addicts. Additionally, starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens, and it breeds fraud and crime and all of the other problems that come. So we're not making any payment to anybody that supports sanctuary cities.
Not making any payments to anybody that is supporting sanctuary cities. I love that, right? And I'm sure AOC's not happy about that. AOC, all out crazy, my least favorite congresswoman from the Bronx and Queens. But I'm sure she's really ticked off about it.
That's fantastic. I love that. There's going to be a lawsuit because Congress has appropriated the funds. So it has to be dispersed. That's exactly what they're going to say. Congress has appropriated funds. It's got to be dispersed. Congress holds purse strings, which they're right. They are right. And Trump knows that the Republicans in Congress don't have the guts and don't have the spine to stand up to it and do something different. So it's not going to go anywhere. I like that he's going to try. Again, to your point, he's trying to show him how to lead and how to fight, but they're not going to do it. Well, I hate to be such a Debbie Downer, but I hate to be, but it's true.
Well, I don't know. I think everything is a coin toss with government. I really didn't think that the big beautiful bill was going to become a reality. I didn't think that we were going to have no tax on tips. Fair. I did not think that we were going to have no tax on overtime, but yet here we are, right? So I think that there's a lot that's happening. I didn't think we were going to see Maduro this quickly. I thought it was going to take till the end of 26. And I thought Trump was going to drown him out, like, cutting him off, continue the blockades. And he was going to say, all right, I'm leaving. I'm going to take my jet. I'm going to go to fly to some country that's going to welcome me. Instead, the guy's in handcuffs getting perp walked, and he's in a jail cell with P. Diddy and Tekashi 6ix9ine and Mangione. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
And it is not a nice place to be. It is not a good.
I've never been.
Well, no, neither have I, but I've heard the stories. I've heard the stories, and it's supposedly not a great place to be. But I think the difference with Maduro is that we had an arrest warrant for him, and Biden chose not to. Biden didn't put the bounty on his head until almost the end of his term. Right? So they weren't serious about arresting him. Trump's like, well, he's a wanted criminal. There's a $20 million bounty on his head. I still want Trump to get that bounty. I want him to collect it, and I want him to hand it out to the men and women who were responsible for that raid, for making it go so quickly. They should all each one of them should get a cut of it. I want him to collect that.
Maybe that's what he used to bribe Delcy Rodriguez, Maduro's VP, to say, hey, hand him over. I'll give you the bounty.
Maybe. Who knows?
You never know. It was probably a little bit more than that Havana Syndrome sound bomb. Now, the crack squad that we have in our studio earlier mentioned to me that they'd found a file clip of 60 Minutes talking about Havana Syndrome, and I want to hear it because I thought it was an interesting to talk about, because right now, part of what the discussion today is that, at least the rumor mill has it, ICE may start using the same weapon that they used to invade Maduro's compound for their purposes. And I don't know if that's true or not, but it sure makes for good talk radio. Let it rip.
We have important developments in our 5-year investigation of mysterious brain injuries reported by U.S. national security officials. The injured include White House staff, CIA officers, FBI agents, military officers, and their families. Many believe that they were wounded by a secret weapon that fires a high-energy beam of microwaves or ultrasound. This is our 4th story, and for the first time we have evidence of who might be responsible. Most of the injured have fought for America, often in secret, and they're frustrated that the U.S. government publicly doubts that an adversary is targeting Americans. One of them is Carrie. We're disguising her and not using her last name because she's still an FBI agent working in counterintelligence. She says in 2021, she was home in Florida when she was hit by a crippling force.
And bam, inside my right ear, it was like a dentist drilling on steroids. That feeling when it gets too close to your eardrum, it's like that, times 10. It was like a high-pitched metallic drilling noise, and it knocked me forward at like a 45-degree angle this way.
She says she was by a window in her laundry room.
My right ear was line of sight to that window while this thing was happening in my ear. And when I leaned forward, it didn't knock me over, but it knocked me forward. I immediately felt pressure and pain started coursing from inside my right ear, down my jaw, down my neck, and into my chest.
At the same time, FBI agent Carey told us the battery in her phone began to swell until it broke the case. Finally, she passed out on a couch. Because of chest pain, she was checked by a cardiologist and then returned to duty.
And I remember complaining to my colleagues for months after that. I felt like I had early Alzheimer's. Short-term memory, long-term memory, confusing memories, multitasking. My baseline changed. I was not the same person.
Well,
it sounds like they have perfected this weapon, or at least improved it. And you know what's interesting here is, I don't know if this is Scott Pelley or Dan Rather or who, but man, could you get a better voice to put people to sleep? And this is the staccato that doesn't work for me. Anyway, this kind of wild stuff here, Mary Walter.
Yeah, okay, so I don't think they're going to use this on ICE protesters.
Come on.
You can't.
Come on, you got to be on the fence a little bit.
It's got lasting physical symptoms, like forever. Like, so
yeah.
A lot of
You're 100% right. They're not going to.
So you can't.
They don't even use fire hoses anymore because of whatever silly reason.
Look
so
at fire
just
hose
imagine.
along the street. You watch all their feet knock out from under. They go down like bowling pins. Vroom, it's great. All these other countries use them, but because they're they are very sensitive. You could probably use a garden hose and still have the same effect. I mean, you get one of those nozzles on it. You could probably do the same thing. We also have other things. We have the nets, right? Like, what all these weapons that have been developed? Why don't we use them? Because they get away now. What they're doing is, well, I'm not going to get into that because we're talking about this. But I didn't want to go on a tangent. But I don't think they're going to use this. And honestly, I was kind of like this about using it even in Venezuela, because we're not at war. We were just going in to get Maduro, right? If it's going to be used on the battlefield, this is, I don't know, can you imagine the effect this is going to have on war, on military operations? I don't know. Or is every war over in like 30 seconds?
Yeah, well, again, I don't know. I think, whenever I hear people say, well, putting boots on the ground is out of I can't remember the last time we're really putting boots on the ground outside of like a SEAL team or something like that. I don't think that's the way of war moving forward, right? So hopefully we're just blowing people up from far away and getting our way, if I can be so bold and so frank to say that. I hope that we don't have to use weapons like this, but I'm glad they exist, right? I guess it's better to get hit in the head with a baseball bat or drilled by your dentist than to get blown to smithereens. My thinking.
Yeah, but again, if it damages you permanently.
Well, what's more permanently damaging than death?
Well, you know what? With some of the symptoms, you may want to die. I don't know. This is very unknown to me, and honestly, I think we have people on the ground in a lot of countries. Like, I think we got soldiers on the ground in Israel, Gaza. I think we're, Ukraine. I think we got soldiers on the ground in a lot of places.
Perhaps. I think there's a lot of ways of working around that, right? Just like the Democrats always did. When I don't know if you remember that story when the Twitter files came out, that they were buying audience data from Twitter, right? Because Twitter was allowed to spy on your phone, because to take the app, you say, sure, you could listen to what I'm saying, and then Twitter would have that information and then sell it to the federal government.
Right.
And then they had that information because they legally can't, because they're the government. And they come up with workarounds for everything. That's why there's these black ops guys, these CIA contractors. They're not the CIA, but they're contractors, or defense contractors. I mean, there's such a shell game going on. And listen, it's and I hate to cop out like this, but it's truly above my pay grade, right? There are things that happen in this world that I can't even begin to comprehend, and I'm glad that they don't fall on my desk, and all I get to do is talk about them, right?
Well, this is why I do not have any of those apps on my phone, because I actually read the service agreement, and I chose not to give them access to all my pictures and my friends' phone numbers and data and everything. But thank you to all my friends who did not give me the same consideration. I only use desktop for all that stuff. I refuse.
Oh, look at you. Again, my brother, the main one with the conspiracy hat on, he He just started using a smartphone like yesterday. He was using a flip phone forever because, he's like, hey, I can go off grid real quick with a flip phone, but with the GPS and this other thing, you could try and track me and blah, blah, blah. So, listen, and
send me his number. He's my brother from another mother.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love him.
I'm
Listen,
with him on that.
I have been trying to get him on with me to do an interview because I think he's so entertaining, and he really is knowledgeable. But he refuses to do it because he doesn't want the world to know who he is.
Okay, I'm not that bad. I mean, and I know there's a file like this thick. You and I we both had our backgrounds checked by the IDF, right? And the Secret Service, if you've ever got to several times. So we know that, we both know that, but that doesn't mean that I want to make it easy for Google to have the contents of my entire phone.
Yeah, no, I get that. You want to make it as difficult as you can, if you can, yes. if that's what you're looking to do, right? That's why I never signed up for TikTok, and I'm on all the other social media, but TikTok was a little too invasive.
TikTok's where you drew the line.
I drew the line with China, yeah. But I want to know what anybody out there thinks. I know you're in your car. I don't want you to take your hands off the wheel. Thankfully, now we can use our voice commands to make a call. The number, it is 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. I checked my Twitter a little while ago, and as I mentioned to you, I used to do weekends on WPHT for about 2 years, several years back, and I had a proverbial hater, a couple, but one that rings true is Brian Fletcher. And Brian Fletcher tweeted at me saying, do you think that Trump is serious about running for a third term in 2028? With Trump's cognitive, mental, physical health continuing to decline. What makes you say that? He keeps passing all his tests with flying colors. But Mr. Fletcher says that he'll be lucky if he makes it to 2028. Now, Brian Fletcher, I'm going to say, I think you're delusional, number one. I think you're wrong, number two. Now, what's interesting here is you have the opportunity to pick up a phone and troll me in real life, but you don't.
Right.
You hide behind your keyboard.
His tweet. Why should he? You just read his tweet.
Well, I mean, he wasn't going to call anyway. He's been doing this for years, right? So I'm going to give him a little plug here because I'm grateful, you know why? That he's listening to the show, right? The ones that agree with me won't call. At least the ones that disagree with me are tweeting. But
that's a good point.
Got to show them all love because honestly, I typically, I'm good for plenty of calls in a show. But I don't know. Philly doesn't like me for whatever reason. They don't want to have the conversation.
It's interesting. I love that the left keeps like, oh, Trump's going to run in 2028. I love that you take the bait, and so does Trump. I love that the left takes the bait, right? Don't you just want to say that to him? I love that you take the bait. Who said it was Donald? Maybe it's Barron. Maybe it's Eric. I think Eric would be better than Don Jr. And I just love that suddenly they're all doctors. None of them were doctors when Biden was president, when President Putin Pants was falling all over himself, right? He couldn't walk in the grass. The tall grass was too much for him, right? None of them. He's fine. I can't believe you're not his doctor. You can't diagnose him, right? Now all of a sudden, Trump's in serious mental decline. Did you see? Stop it. Anyway.
Unreal. It really is. So anyway, while you guys are busting out your cell phones and pulling over to make safe calls to talk to Mary Walter and me, Rich Valdez, I want to remind you to check out her show. She's got a live show tonight. And B, to make sure that you know exactly what President Trump was talking about today. Now, we have a cut. It's a little too long for me, Mary Walter. 1.5 minutes. That's kind of long, right? I think that's long. But maybe we'll cut it off somewhere. But Trump was at the Ford plant today, and he says, we are requiring proof of attendance in order to get federal funding, and we're freezing any and all welfare payments going to illegal immigrants effective immediately. I love it when he gets tough like that. He takes Congress by the you-know-what. Check this out.
We froze it all, children's payments to those states that we're talking about, and we will now require proof of attendance in order to receive federal funding for child care or any of that. How about all these child care places in Minnesota where there is no children? They go there, they get paid millions and millions of dollars. The biggest operation in all of Minnesota had no children. And we pay millions of dollars. They're scammers. They always will be. And we're getting them out, and we're not going to pay them. We're not going to pay Minnesota. Right, Scott? We're not paying Minnesota any more money for any of that crap. It's a big scam. It's a giant scam run by an incompetent, crooked governor. He's an incompetent, crooked guy. And also we're freezing any and all welfare payments going to illegal immigrants that will start effective immediately. So when illegals come into California, Gavin Newsom, they come into California, and they send us bills for people coming in. We're not paying it. So we're working on that very strongly. Just don't pay it. As Nancy Reagan would say, just say no. You remember Nancy Reagan? Just say no to drugs. It's a little more difficult than that, I guess, right? But just say no. Additionally, from this moment forward, if you're on public assistance like almost all Somalis are, did you see where 94% of them are on public assistance? You can't wire money out of the country back to your bank account from where you came. But more importantly, we probably aren't even going to give them the money anymore, the money going to them, because of the tremendous abuse and probably illegality being perpetrated on our country. We're not going to give them the money. We're not giving them the money.
We're not giving them the money. We're not giving them the money. Well, you know what? AOC also says that we're not giving them the money. AOC was foaming at the mouth talking about we need to defund ICE. And she's been saying that for a long time. But now she's saying it because ICE is shooting moms in the face. I hope this is short. Listen to this.
Government funding, we're about to run out of money. What should be the red lines when it comes to ICE funding? When it comes to DHS, should there be policy or reduction in funding? What should be the options?
I mean, in terms of which deadlines line up with which goals, that's a tactical decision to be made. But my position has always been clear that ICE funding should be cut. We're seeing what they're doing with this reckless explosion in funding, and mind you, just so everybody knows, I want everybody to understand. The cuts to your health care are what's paying for this. All that extra money that everybody's paying right now in their premiums, all that extra money that you're paying, it is paid for it is all of that extra money that the government and the ACA subsidies that was given to nearly $1 trillion in healthcare was taken out and given to ICE. So understand how these dots connect.
How do the dots connect?
CBS News Brief.
Oh, sorry. I thought we went to commercial. I didn't even get to say goodbye. Anyway, how do the dots connect? Maybe we'll talk about that when we're coming back. Mary Walter, what's your quick take on how the dots connect?
I just wish that they would get rid of that rule that lets them lie with impunity.
Yeah.
That's where I am. Get rid of that. A lot of our problems would not exist.
Good point. Thank you, Obama. All right, amigos, we're coming right back. It's Mary Walter and Rich Valdez. Keep it locked right here.
From North Wales to Willingboro, we know your favorite stations, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Let's ring in the new year by finally checking off something that actually matters. Your old videotapes and photos are fading more every year. VCRs are disappearing, and the clock is ticking to save your family's most important memories. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve your memories by converting all your videotapes, photos, and film reels into digital files. And this year, it's easier than ever.
Introducing our biggest kit yet, able to hold up to 80 videotapes or film reels or 2,000 photos. It's perfect for big collections. You can even send in old DVDs, memory cards, flip phones, or early generation iPhones.
Legacy Box is truly the easiest New Year's resolution you'll ever keep. Just fill your box and send it in. As the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos, all work is done in the U.S., and we're trusted by over 1 million families.
Start the new year right by rescuing the moments you haven't watched in years. Go to legacybox.com/radio for an incredible 55% off. That's legacybox.com/radio for 55% off.
Gold is now over $4,400 an ounce. Need cash to help pay holiday bills? Go to the Estates Roadshow Monday through Friday and get cash in your hands. Gold and silver, old rings, chains, and even broken jewelry. Don't wait. Cash in while gold is hot by going to the Estates Roadshow. 3 locations this week: Chestnut Hill, Warrington, and Thoroughfare. Bring your gold, silver, coins, diamonds, and watches, even broken pieces, and get cash on the spot. The price of gold is now around $4,400 an ounce, so there's never been a better time to sell. No appointments, no fees, no pressure. Just friendly professional buyers with over 35 years in the business. Go to the Estates Roadshow, Monday through Friday at the Chestnut Hill Hotel, Warrington at the Hampton Inn, or in Thoroughfare at the Best Western. Get some cash in your hands today to help pay those holiday bills at the Estates Roadshow. For more info, visit estatesroadshow.com.
It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically present in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. T&Cs apply.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2. And you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbie, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp, and they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest-growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join our news revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today.
Hey, Dawn Stensland here. Kick off your new year on a high note with a new certified or pre-owned vehicle from my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. Did you know Piazza carries more than 3,500 new vehicles and 1,600 pre-owned vehicles at any given time, like Honda, Acura, Mazda, Hyundai, and Volkswagen, plus pretty much any other brand that you can think of. Now that's selection. Visit PiazzaAutogroup.com, search Piazza's new and pre-owned inventory, or to find a dealer nearest you. Make sure you tell them Dawn sent you.
Hair Volume for New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Welcome back to the afternoon show here on 1210 WPHT. I'm here. I'm Mary Walter, and I am here with Rich Valdez with an S. Find us both on X, Rich Valdez, and Mary Walter Radio. Super easy to find us. As he mentioned, my podcast, live cast actually, is tonight, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. I know a lot of you familiar faces that I see on the chat on YouTube here for WPHT will be there tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. And you can find it. You can join in. It's a lot of fun. Rumble, YouTube, Getter. Just look for Mary Walter Radio. Audio. The audio is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker. Again, Mary Walter Radio. And go to Rich Valdez with an S, Valdez.com. In order to see Rich. He has a podcast every single night, 9 o'clock. So you want to take that in and see Rich. So, Rich, why do you think it is that so many women are risking it all for liberal causes? Why do you think that is?
Oh, boy. Listen, I don't know. I've never been a woman. I've never claimed to be one. I don't identify as one. But I will say that I love them. I have two that were birthed to me, right? My two little girls that are big now. One's 20, one's 24. And I can tell you that what I see happening is it is the leftward movement that we've seen in society in general, right? From the 1970s to now. And at first it was, the women's liberation movement, and that became feminism. But this is way beyond that. Now this is, women went from feminism to becoming men, right? That we talked about, women getting into men's sports. Now you've got women out there that not only do they think they're men, they want to be agitators, and they're willing to put on the line. I have no idea why, other than to say they have replaced their true identity with their ideology. And this is, to me, one of the scariest things that someone can do. Anybody, not just women, anybody, right? I am born in New York. I'm an American of Puerto Rican descent. I'm a guy. I'm a dad. I'm a radio guy. I'm all sorts of things. But all of those things make up my identity. But I don't hang my hat on one thing. And I think these people are hanging their hat on everything. They're all in on their leftist ideology, and that's what's happening.
I want to play this for you. Cut 8. I want to start this. This is a woman on X, and I hope you bleeped the heck out of this because I gave you fair warning, guys. So if it's not bleeped, this is not on me. And we'll have to cut it very, very short. And she talks about this because I have long said that if we could find a way to prevent liberal women from voting for like 4 years, we could solve vast majority of our problems. Sorry, ladies, but it's true. So listen to this woman just rant about these liberal white women.
One of the biggest threats in America right now is the white liberal American woman. They are so radicalized at this point that they can't even see that they're no longer fighting for Americans. They're willing to ride or die for illegal criminals that have come into this country. It is absolutely absurd. And it's dangerous because these women also have kids. And they're pushing these radicalized, crazy ideology onto their children. And until we start fixing the problem with white American liberal women, it is not going to change in this country. We're witnessing firsthand what happens when liberal women are radicalized in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You're literally seeing firsthand what happens. And until we can get through to those women and make them realize, like, hey, you should be ride or die for American citizens because you're a American. Period. What the are you doing? Liberals need to get their heads out of get their together because it's America first.
She was very, very agitated and worked up. She's very worked up about it. But she's right. If you want to jump in, 855-839-1210, what has happened to these women that has made them so bat crap crazy? We've got the Minnesota mom now. We had the Maryland dad. Now we got the Minnesota mom. And here's what I'm going to say too, because I know some of these women. I went to school with some people who have gone off the rails into crazy town. They've got one of them has blue hair now. Like every single one of them either never got married or are very bitter because they're divorced. Right? Look at this, the Minnesota mom, married twice to a man, right? The first one, she got divorced, I believe she lost custody of her children. Second time he died, which is horrible. And I don't know if that affected her, if that somehow, but she gets involved. She's got a kid. I guess one of the kids somehow she has custody of, and she winds up with this woman. Now she's in a relationship with a woman, and they actually moved out of the country because Donald Trump won the election. I know another woman who has older children, kind of like you have older children. She winds up getting divorced. She goes from a Trump supporter to a liberal. She's with a guy who was a Democrat politician in New Jersey, and the two of them beat feet to Europe, to another country, because Donald Trump won. Like, what?
Hey, at least they kept their word and they went.
That's very true. That's
so
true.
Many of them don't.
So what's going on? What is happening? Is there something in the water? Is it really as easy as, I don't know. It's almost like something snaps in their head.
Yeah. Well, I have two contributions here. One is I did my show last night on this your identity becoming your ideology becoming your identity. And this is not an idea original to me. I was dissecting this idea from George Carlin. It was a quote from one of his shows, or an AI version of George Carlin. But either way, it was George Carlin or the AI, right? And he was the one saying that. And he was saying that once you've done that, when your ideology has become your identity, it's no longer a difference of opinion. It's now an attack on your person. And that's why they respond the way they do, so viscerally. Now, on the flip side of that, this morning I was scrolling through my social media and I saw Megyn Kelly. And Megyn Kelly said that we are facing a Karen infitata. And I all but spit my coffee out when I read that. I thought it was the funniest thing. And she said, she used different language, but she said it's a real lack of these women. They have a lack of, I'm going to call it vitamin D. You can figure that out, because they are not enough men in their life.
Listen, I agree that I think men and women bring different things to a relationship. I truly believe that. And we have friends who are gay couples, lesbian couples, and their kids are great. Like, their kids are all great. And they have not lost their minds. Although it's interesting, the gay couple that we're pretty close to, they're both liberal, like crazy liberal. And the women, the lesbians those gay couples are conservative. So go figure that one out. So I don't know. I don't know what
This
that's
sounds like
about.
a reality show.
I know, right? Like it is pretty funny. But I like what you're saying here. They don't have an identity. What's their identity? And for a lot of women, unfortunately, their identity is being the wife of someone or the mother of someone. And so I think when your kids grow up, a lot of women, as if you were a stay-at-home mom, that empty nest thing, she has no identity of herself. What do I do with myself now? You know, that thing. But they had, this Renee Good had 3 kids.
And was married to a guy.
Twice. Now I get when you get 2 fail, maybe you go play for the other team. Maybe it's me. You know what I mean? Like, all right, maybe I'll see if I can make this work. And I also think you shouldn't be allowed to be married more than twice. I figure if you're that bad of a chooser, you probably shouldn't do anything else for life. You know, you shouldn't make another commitment for life if you're that bad at it. I just find it super, super interesting that these women are really, you know, they've gotten so physical. They're assaulting ICE officers. They're punching vehicles, ICE vehicles, like they're members of I don't know, like a lumberjack squad. I don't know, like they're more manly than the men on the left, right?
For sure. Right? And you know, this is something I've seen for a long time. It's now it's on social media, but when I was a kid riding the subway, I totally remember I saw these women with very short haircuts, with like buzz cuts. And I remember asking my mom, I was like, "What's that all about?" And I think she said, "Oh, that's a butch." I think that's what she said. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And that was the first time. Next time I was like, "What's a butch? What's going on here?" Right? And I figured it out as I grew up. But clearly there was, you know, which I mean, some might argue that that's the real issue for trans, but it's still not the case, right? I mean, I spoke with a lesbian, I had a whole interview about this, and she was saying we reject the whole trans ideology because we're women that like women, not women that think we're men. And
right.
it just adds more question than response for me. So I don't know. Somebody in the audience want to help me out?
Maybe this is why they can't identify what a woman is.
Right? Yeah, and did you know, Mary Walter, by the way, divorce is generally illegal in the Philippines? Did you know that?
Yeah, I did because I watched 90 Day Fiancé.
Ah, yeah. I remember a caller telling me that
country,
once.
So that's probably why.
And I Googled it to see if it was real. And yes, I did use Google, not DuckDuckGo. And it confirmed my suspicion that it's true. So
right,
maybe you're onto something.
Oh, so no, you can get divorced. I don't care if you get divorced twice. I just don't think you should marry again. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, that's how you prevent that, by making it illegal.
Yeah, but then you got to, I don't know, having to stick with somebody like, would you want to stick with somebody like some of these women?
Yes, I have zero problems with it. Zero problems.
So if your wife went off the deep end, and suddenly is, you know, punching ICE cars and everything else on the street and dyeing her hair purple and chopping it off and doing all that stuff, you'd be like, yeah, glad I'm in this. I'm glad I'm in it for the long haul.
Likely wouldn't happen. Pretty likely it wouldn't happen. But I'll say this: I will keep what I have been given, and I will work with what I've got.
All right. On that note, I know some single women who might want to test that out. I'm just saying.
I've been a single guy for a very long time, and I'll tell you, if I could have stayed married, man, my life would have been way better, and my bank account would be that much bigger.
Well, that part is true. That part is true, especially the bank account part. 855-839-1210, and we talked about that yesterday. Women do single better than men. 855-839-1210. If you want to jump in, we're not done yet. We're coming up on the afternoon show here on 1210 WPHT.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ETHOS.com/radio. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Every man should have their health optimized. Forte Men's Health offers a unique approach, providing individualized solutions that address a wide range of critical issues. Dr. Michael Atanasio supports you with cardiovascular disease prevention, improvement in erectile dysfunction, testosterone replacement and enhancement, nutrition counseling, and weight control, all in one place. Reduce the need for multiple specialists. Visit ForteMen'sHealth.com and make an appointment today for personalized health care. ForteMen'sHealth.com. With one doctor, one location for life. ForteMen'sHealth.com.
Truck Month is happening now at Tri-County Toyota. Right now, lease a new 2026 Tundra all-wheel drive Crewmax SR5 for $479 a month. Or buy and get 2.99% financing for 72 months. Or $3,000 cash back. Or check out a new 2025 Tacoma four-wheel drive double cab SR5 and lease for $299 a month. Or get rates as low as 2.99% for 48 months. Visit us online at TriCountyToyota.com to see more.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
SEPTA's general manager hears constructive criticism from riders who endured the closure of the trolley tunnel. Jewish employees at Penn seek legal standing to oppose a federal demand for a list of Jewish organizations. And the bankrupt owner of the former Crozier Health System wants to get rid of medical records.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
It's time to get focused on improving the lives of our beloved pets by feeding them the most nutritious pet food on the planet. With 2 decades of experience, the Dogs and Cats Rules stores can guide you in the right direction to meet your pet's needs. Fads come and go, but there's no substitute for premium meat inclusive food for your pets. If you changed your pet's food lately and they're starting to look like a shaggy dog, smelly ears and biting their feet all the time, you need to come into one of our 7 very convenient locations or visit dogsandcatsrule.pet.
Running a small business is a daily balancing act. One late shipment, one price hike, one employee issue, and your whole month, maybe the entire year, could be in trouble. That's where LendSeek comes in.
I needed $100,000 fast to keep up with inventory demands. LendSeek had me funded the same day I applied. Between their AI platform finding the fastest deal and a dedicated funding specialist guiding the process, it couldn't have been easier.
Our AI-driven platform matches your business with the right program from over 100 funders, up to $2 million in as fast as 24 hours. Don't wait until it's too late. If you've been in business at least 2 years with more than $500,000 in annual revenue, qualifying is simple. No collateral, no out-of-pocket costs, no hassle. From lines of credit, term loans to revenue-based financing, LendSeek is open for business. Apply in minutes at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Why should you volunteer with Meals on Wheels?
I'll come to the door with one meal and I'll walk away with a full heart.
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org. Brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Free speech lives here. With Rich Zioli. Weeknights at 6. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
La 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 la. I've never heard this song, but I'll go with it. It works for me. Anyway, there's a bunch we're going to get into, and limited minutes for us to get into it. I'm supposed to talk about Mamdani and maybe Michael Rappaport running for mayor, but I want to finish the topic that we were on before because I thought it was really interesting with women faring better than men. And I 100% agree with that. I think women do better because ultimately, the older you get, the more you need a woman in your life, right? When you're young, you might be in the gym, you might be more attractive, you might be whatever. But imagine being like, I don't know, 84, maybe not in the gym so much. You're a little flabbier than you used to be. Things may not work like they used to be. And you want that someone in your life that you hopefully don't have to go find at the bar. So I agree with that statement, Mary Walter.
Yeah, it's interesting. First of all, the greater Chris tweeted us, I was going to say text, tweeted at us or X'd at us, said, was that Matt or Justin tasked with beeping that woman on that clip? He said, good job. But it's interesting that you say that, but do you notice women in their 80s are more than perfectly happy to be by themselves?
Always. Always.
Yeah. Men are very emotionally needy. And I don't just think it's emotion. I think it's they need to be taken care of. They need someone who's going to look after them. They need a mommy is what they need.
Well,
they need
or a wife.
Right. Potato. And women are capable of functioning on their own.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think men are capable of it. It's just not a happy existence. It's so much better.
Men, for women, a lot of women are very super happy. Like I told you yesterday, my husband dropped. If I find out, like, he had a horrible accident at work or just fell over, or whatever, I'd be like, oh well, that was that. I have zero desire to. I just want to live my life. I have a nice place. Go where I want to go. I'm fine. I'll be fine on my own. Like, I know that. It's very interesting difference, and maybe that's how we can decide who's a man and who's a woman, just based on that alone.
Yeah, well, I think if you go down the line, I think most things are different, right? Ultimately, it always boils down to those things, right? But you're not alone. I've yet to meet a woman that's like, oh my gosh, I need a man in my life. I've never met such a woman ever in my whole life.
Yeah, because we're capable of functioning. I
don't think it's about capability. I think it's about preference.
Well, no, there's clearly a need that men have that most women don't, and not all
but
men.
Needs don't necessitate capability, right? I mean, I think guys are very capable. It's just, why wouldn't I want it, right? If it's such a nice thing. It's just for women, they don't see it as a nice thing.
I guess. I don't think they see it as don't see it as a nice thing. I think a lot of women are like, yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, well, it is a lot of work.
I pick my own underwear up off the floor. I don't need to pick someone else's up off the floor too.
Well, we got to work on that. Somebody call security. Well, anyway, I saw the cover story on the New York Post a little while ago was it says best friends forever or something like that. It was Mamdani and Trump. Apparently, they've been exchanging texts about things other than work and government. I think these guys are sending Instagram reels, memes, and other jokes to each other. What's up with that, Mary Walter?
I wonder if Donald Trump is, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't see a need for Mamdani to be an enemy because his own policies are his enemy, and he's going to fail on his own anyway. So this way, he's going to blame Trump for stuff, but Trump's going to be like, what are you kidding? I try to help you.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, amigos, I am Rich Valdez. She is Mary Walter. And make sure you check out her live cast tonight, at Mary Walter Radio on X if you want to find her. If you're looking for anything related to me, I talked about a lot of interesting stuff that we talked about here on my show last night. You can catch that. And there's another show tonight. We do it every night. And you're welcome to check that out on iHeartRadio or richvaldez.com or wherever you get podcasts if you want to listen to it tomorrow. So anyway, I think that's everything I've got. Mary Walter, do you want to bid the audience adieu?
So we're out of here, but the Brunos are in tomorrow and Thursday, and Sean Farash, and a lot of people would be happy about that. And Anna, whose name I forgot, last name I forgot, will be in on Friday. That's the lineup, but you and I are out of here. But thank you so much. It was fun. Thanks for working.
Amen. Praise God. Hallelujah. Hasta la próxima.
Guys.
Thank you, Phil.
Bye.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I